Hey, thank you for clicking on my video. I have a great show planned for you today here. I'm going to be talking about the job market crisis here on The Vibes by Clyde. But first, I'm going to preview the vibes. Coming up at the end of the show, I have a main event where this guy is going to talk about why it is so hard to find a job. Then we are going to have some funny vibes where we talk about some unrealistic job requirements that employers are looking for. Then we're going to get into some gloomy vibes where we have highly qualified people having a hard time getting hired. And then we're also going to have real vibes where we talk about how college graduates are also having a difficult time getting hired. And for our extra vibes, we're going to get into the gritty details of what quitting your job versus keeping your job and what that might entail and what are the pros and cons for that situation there. But first, we are going to preview the main event. Let's see what this guy's talking about. He's pretty much going to tell us what he has for us in this video. Wait a minute.
In this video, I'll share 4 reasons why finding a job is so hard right now, and I'll even reveal my personal 5-step strategy that recently helped 3 of my friends land their jobs.
All right, so that's pretty much a short preview of what he's going to be talking about. So make sure you stay tuned here to watch that video. We are going to be just taking a look at it and seeing what he has to say. He has some really good, valuable information that I really want you to hear about. And I am Clyde. I am a one-man show. I'm going to be here the whole time. Okay, just going through these vibes, and we are going to figure this stuff out together. So first, let's see what else we got on the ticket. First, we're going to be looking at some funny vibes. Where they at? Funny vibes. All right. So for funny vibes, we have we have workplace workplace culture that tries to include people, making people seem all inclusive and all happy-go-lucky. And hey, we're a big family, we're all a team here, those types of what is it called? Those types of jobs where they want to make you feel like you are a part of the team and we are all just happy-go-lucky here, you know. These jobs where they talk about how great they are before you even start the job, or something terrible happens and then they start saying, "Hey, we're all a team here. Just come on, stay here." Or you get a job, or you're about to go to a job, you're applying for a job, and they start talking about, "Hey, we're a family here. You will love it here. The culture here is great." And the people are looking at you with a tear rolling down their eye, and they're just like, "Hey, just come to us." Reminds me of the movie Us. you know, where's it? Yeah, the Us movie. I'm pretty sure it's Us. Anyway, anyway, let's watch this video. I love this guy. He's hilarious.
Job, we're a family. No, we're co-workers. We're in a store, not a Vin Diesel movie. What do you think this is, Fast and Furious 10, dollars an hour? Hate to disappoint you, but I've applied to 40 other families this week. We're not family. We're acquaintances who keep our lunch in the same fridge. This is just a job. At this job, we're a family.
We're a family at this job. Then I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but if you have, just know, start applying for other jobs. Start applying for other jobs because it's something fishy going on there. It's probably a cult. You're probably working for a cult. Okay, if they gotta force it on you, it's probably not real. Anyway, here's this guy's Instagram. If you want to drop him a follow, watch his videos, give him some likes. He's hilarious. He has tons of videos on there. Anyway, let's read some of these comments. I'm going to read about 3 or 4 comments. This one says, "Fast and Furious, $10 an hour." That is hilarious. Especially when the minimum wage is lower than that. Apparently, in most states. Anyway, somebody says, "I applied to..." Okay, somebody's just rehashing the quotes of the video. Let's see what else people have to say here. All right. Somebody says, "Yeah, I watch this once a week." That might help you, with your... I watch this once a week. That's probably helping that person really figure out where they are in life. They're like trying to brainwash themselves at that point. They don't need the job anymore. Now they need to brainwash themselves at that point. All right. Somebody says, "We're family, so you feel better about us treating you like a servant, and there's different rules for each family member." Oh no, somebody went all the way in. All right. Well, I'm not going to get too much into these comments. Let's go into here. All right, yeah. So I have some other points about this video that I thought was pretty funny. Yeah, if you have to force it, force that family culture, it's probably not real. It should come. It should come naturally. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't feel like it's. It shouldn't feel like it's a cult at your job. If you have like a lot of people complaining and you know they're still trying to act like nothing is wrong, you're short staffed, most people getting paid nothing, the only people making money out there is the admin staff and the higher ups at the job, and y'all all just working y'all fingers to the bone and y'all still not getting paid. Hey, also notice that the people at the higher ups at that job are always the people saying stuff like that. The people at the lower end of the job, the people who like have the lower end skills at the job, the people who have making less money at that job, they are not saying that. And it's probably because they broke. It's probably because they broke. And I mean, hey, if that's the case,
I need that money.
they're like, hey, I need money, man. I'm not trying to talk about how we're a family. Let's talk about this money. Let's bring the money in. Then we can have a conversation. I'm not trying to. Let's have a conversation about this bread, about this cheddar, about this guac, about this cheese, about this moolah. Oh, I can't think of any more ways to say money. But you know what? I get it. You get the drift. Okay. But yeah, like when you're at a meeting and you hear the bosses talking like that, and you're just kind of sitting in the meeting like,
wait a minute. Who are you?
Like who? What are you talking about? This is not. I don't know what job you're working at, but at this job, we are not a family. At this job, we are. If we are a family, we're a family we're a big family in a 2-bedroom apartment, and the roof is leaking, and we all broke. Ain't nobody got no car, and the light's about to get shut out next week. So hey, just saying, you might want to watch out for that, people, when you talk about, hey, we're a family here. This is a great place to, raise a family. It'll be great. But yeah, usually you hear that when the morale is low. When people are forced to take shifts that they don't want. People forced to come in when they sick. You try to call out for being sick, they be like, hey, can you still come in? Yeah, but you know what? I'm sick. Yeah, but I still need you to come in. Hey, we only got 3 people on shift today. You're like, what? Well, that sounds like a you problem. It sounds like a you problem because, hey, I'm sick. Hey, if I go in there, I make everybody else sick. Now you're going to have 2 people on the shift. Do you want that? Yes or no? Okay, yeah. That's when you got to really figure it out. It's not going to be working out for you if you only got 2 people on the shift. So, hey, just make sure you're not, overselling it. If you are one of these people in a higher management and you think you're doing a good job out here trying to, what's the word? Encourage your employees. You think you're trying to, boost morale by yourself. That's not how you boost morale. Okay. You gotta, how you boost morale? Hire more people. Okay. Stop trying to get people to do 5 jobs. All right. Just because that person is really good at the job, that don't mean they should stay at that part. That means you need to pay that person more or give them a promotion. Okay. People that's been at the same position for like 5, 6 years, they ain't get no promotion. What is it called? What is it called? Promotions come up and they get denied every time. You need to help these people out. Hey, look, I'm looking at your boss right now, man. I'm trying to see, hey, if you're a boss, you need to look out for your coworkers, and look out for your employees. And if you're an employee, hey, you need to get on it. You need to work hard so they can see you, so they can notice you. Anyway, it says, job really do not care about you. They don't. I'm sorry to tell you, man, but your job does not care about you. They just want you to clock in. They will replace you the next day if they need to, okay? The day you croak, the next day they probably hire somebody else. All right, so just make sure you, make sure you know that, just keep that running in the back of your head, I know some people do love their jobs, for instance, I love my job, but I know at the end of the day, yeah, most of these jobs don't care about people, man. I mean, hey, I'm special. My job like me. Okay. My job care about me. Okay. I'm different. Okay. That's what you might think, in your head. Even if you do think that, just remember, hey, this is just a job. If I mess up tomorrow, I'm out of here. Don't get too cocky at your job. Don't start talking reckless at your job. Don't start, starting things at your job because you've been there the longest or you've been there for a long time. 'Cause just because you've been there for a long time, just because you know everybody, you know how everything works, they can still fire you. Like I love my job, but I'm still like, hey, I'm still gonna try my best to be nice to me, as many people as I can. When I have to be nice to people, you don't have to be nice all the time. That's called a brown nose. Okay. Hey, I'm not against brown noses. Okay. Sometimes you need the brown nose. I'm just saying. Sometimes it works out for you. But yeah, just know, yeah, sometimes it can be really stressful for you. If you're, if you're trying to, keep these jobs and, they're really not treating you well. My job in particular, I think they treat me really well. And I do generally think they care about me. But, it's a job at the end of the day. And you need to always remember that. So always be on your best behavior. Don't let them catch you slipping. That's what I be thinking at. That's what I think at my job. You know, every day at my job, I'm like, I'm not gonna let them catch me slipping. Coworkers be trying to tell me, hey, how about we just take it? How about we just have a chill day? Let's have an easy day. I be like, no, ain't no easy days. Okay, you're not about to catch me slipping. Nope, not once. And if you have coworkers who are trying to help you, hey, maybe we should slack off. Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should do. Nah, don't listen to them. Do what you gotta do. Do your job. Okay, don't let people influence you or encourage you to do less than what's required of you at your job because you can and will get replaced. All right, you can and will. All right, and if you don't think hey, if I'm telling you your job don't care about you, I'm telling you another time your coworkers definitely don't care about you. Okay, they don't. You get fired from your job tomorrow, you can be the favorite. Hey, Joe is nice. I love Joe. Joe is the best person. He's worked so hard at his job. He's so good. He's so nice. He's so friendly. If they fire you tomorrow for some stupid stuff, for something that everybody knows not your fault, nobody's gonna care. Nobody will care. Okay. Nobody's about to quit in solidarity with you, and nobody about to put their paycheck on the line for you. Okay. They might complain. Oh man, Joe was a good guy. I can't believe they let him go. Yeah, all he did was this, that, and the third. He didn't deserve that. But guess what? They still gonna clock in tomorrow and they still gonna work there and make sure. Now they might be looking for another job, but I guarantee they are not going to be rotten with you, man. I have seen people get fired for the worst things at, you know, different jobs that I've been at. I mean, not for the worst things. I've seen people get fired for little things at different jobs that I've been at. And, people are best friends at the job. I mean, how much can you really do though, for your friend if he is at your job? So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's your lifeblood. And, I really don't want you to take advantage of your job at all and like you know, and start slacking off, thinking that, hey, I've been here a while. People know me. People love me. Don't ever think, hey, I got this. Always be uncomfortable. Always think, hey, my job can be replaced tomorrow. Hey, somebody can replace me tomorrow. That's what I think. Every time I clock in, I'm like, hey, today could be my last day. I don't know what might happen at this job. I might make a mistake and I'm gone. That's why I make sure I work hard. That's why I make sure I don't slack off. That's why I make sure they don't catch me slipping. Because I'm like, hey, tomorrow, this could be my last day today. So I'm going to work hard as I can today. And sometimes it don't even matter how hard you work. You can work hard at your job every day, all day, and still get fired for some dumb stuff. But I'm like, hey, on this shift, I take it one day at a time. On this shift, I'm not going to get fired on this shift. Okay. At least not today. Not today, man. I don't know about you, but that's not about to happen today. I'm going to try my best today. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to, oh, my fault. That was a mistake. All right. So next, we're going to watch a video from this guy. Oops. See, I made another mistake. All right. See, I'm making rookie mistakes here, people. Don't make rookie mistakes, people. Okay. Don't make rookie mistakes. All right. Anyway, we're going to talk about some unrealistic job requirements that people face in the job marketplace. Oh my God, I made another mistake. Hey, I promise I'm gonna get to it, people. I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna figure this out. Hey, we're gonna do it live, you know? Oh, where's it at? Where's it at? I'll find it. Give me a sec. Um, I'm sorry, we got dead space here. You know, every time I try to use my sound bites, I can never find the one that I want. It really gets on my nerves when I'm trying to find one that I really want, and it's like gone. But then when I'm randomly looking at my sound bites, I'm like, oh, there it is. So yeah, that's pretty annoying. All right. So yeah, the next video we're gonna watch is about people with unrealistic job requirements. I'm pretty sure we've all been there. We've all seen these job requirements where it's like, what do you even need that for? What? I need to be able to jog for I need to be able to do a 5K? Why? Like, why do I need to know how to do a 5K? You need to have placed in first place on a 5K 2.5 years ago by this company when it was raining outside on a Thursday afternoon. You'd be like, what? That is really, yeah, what are you talking about? Why do I need this? Okay. Anyway, all right, I'm being dramatic, but you get it. 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 Anyway, so somebody says, PLV trying to get a job in 2025. Now we're gonna look at some really unrealistic job requirements. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit because I can't listen to people talk slow. Hey, if you think I talk slow, if you think I talk too fast, drop it down in the comments. Say, hey, Clyde, you need to slow it down. My ears are listening. You talking too fast, bro. But I'm trying to keep your attention, okay? So I need you. Also, I naturally talk fast, okay? So if I talk too fast, let me know. Let me know down in the comments. Say, hey, Clyde, you talking too fast. Or hey, Clyde, you talking too slow. Or hey, Clyde, this is wrong or that's wrong. You need to fix this. You need to do that. You need to, I need the I'm here for all the criticism. Okay. So yeah, let me know what I'm doing wrong. Because I'm a new content creator. I'm trying to figure this thing out. So hey, let's watch this video of unrealistic job requirements. Let's see what they gotta say.
To say this resume is incredible. You are exactly who we've been looking for. Oh my god, I mean, thank you so much. I really felt like I was when I was reading the listing. No, like you are. I mean, you are genuinely perfect for this role. Man, I mean, alright, so when can I start? Huh? Oh no, we can't hire you. What? Yeah, but you just said I'm perfect. Oh no, yeah, you are, but you also need 10 years of experience for this role, so... 10 years? This is the starting role at Walmart. What do I need 10 years for? Yeah, we just found that it's better to hire more experienced people to the position, Wait, so how am I supposed to get this experience if no other firm is going to hire me for the same reason? No way, we hear you. Do you? Because it really feels like you don't. So, okay, so why did I go to college? Like, is that not experience? What was the point of my degree? Yeah, that's a great question that we can't answer. So I'm gonna just go to the army.
I'm gonna just go to the army. Yeah, I feel his pain, man. Some people have really unrealistic job requirements, and it is ridiculous. It is crazy how these jobs be just having. They just have the worst job requirements, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? Why would I need this for this job? Like, huh? What do you mean? What type of 10 years experience? How am I supposed to have 10 years experience? I just graduated from college. What do you mean? Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, some jobs have just experience that's impossible to obtain. Like how am I supposed to have 20 years experience? What do you want, a 60-year-old man to work at this job? How? Hey, I'm not age shaming. I meant to say anything. It could have been 100 years old. Okay, not that 60 years old. And you know what I'm trying to say though. Like, hey, we need like 40 years experience. What do you mean 40 years? Say want somebody that's 102 to work here, like, but also has a master's degree and can pick up heavy boxes. Like, what are you talking about? I'm sorry, but when I'm 103, I'm not trying to pick up nothing. Okay, I need one of those little grabby things, But it's gonna be in the future, so I need like a better grabby thing, like you press the button and then they grab. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So yeah, sometimes they just have experience that's impossible to maintain, or they'll have degree requirements that are not worth the pay. You'll see a job that says like, hey, you need a master's degree for this job. And then you look at the salary and it says $32K. And you're like, what are you talking about? $32,000 a year, but I need a master's degree for it? What are you talking about? What do you mean? Or you'll see like a what is it called? A bachelor's degree for like Burger King. You'd be like, what? I'm trying to work at. All right, now I've never seen this, but I'm pretty sure they have ridiculous degree requirements. Or you know what I see a lot? I see a lot of things that says like different types of degrees. Hey, you need a bachelor in this and a master's degree in that. It's like, what kind of, how are we gonna find this person? These are different degrees. Like, you need a bachelor degree in this study, but you need a master's degree in this study. And it's like, what the, huh? How are you supposed to obtain these things? You know, you need to have a master's degree in biology, and uh, you need a bachelor degree in biology, but then you also need a master's degree in calculus. Like, huh? What type of what type of weird requirements do y'all have here? So I see a lot of that. Yeah, or just like completely unrelated job skills. Like I see that a lot on applications where they just need like stuff that don't pertain to the job. Like what do you mean? Like what do you mean I need to have like what do you mean? Like what do you mean I need to have like a CPR requirement? I'm gonna be at a desk. It's a desk job. Why do I need a CPR requirement? Huh? I need to know how to do CPR. Why? Why do I need a CPR requirement? Or very specific job requirements. Like, and it's just like why do you need this? Especially when they start those those little social tests. Those little where they give you a survey or something like that, and you're like, is this gonna be required for the like? Why is this important? You take like a 200 question survey. They call it a survey, but then they deny you because of the survey. Like, okay, well, I thought it was a survey. What do you mean it's a survey, but you're gonna deny me from getting a job because of a survey? Like what? Like I thought there were no wrong answers in the survey. I thought a survey was just to gather information. Like I did a survey and now I didn't get the job because I didn't answer the survey question. But it's a survey. Like you need to Google what survey means because I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about here. All right, the next thing I'm going to talk about is how college grads can't find jobs either. Now, I personally experienced this also when I first left the job market. It was pretty hard to find a job in my field, but hey, you just gotta look hard. Okay, I found something related to my field, then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just start here, and I'm just move on. I'm gonna just move on from this. You know. Oh, I forgot to show you the guys. Oh, that wasn't it. I forgot to show you the guy's Instagram. Yeah, the guy's Instagram. Here it is right here. I mean, not Instagram. The guy's TikTok of the video we just watched. Yeah, so here's his TikTok. He is up. Where's it at? You know what, people? I promise I'm going to get this together. One day. Just one day. Anyway, it's J Baloo. J Baloo. Somebody said it scares them. What the heck? Okay. Somebody said, I wish 2020s never came. Yeah, 2020 has really messed everybody up, huh? I just know 20 COVID can be blamed for a lot of this stuff, but that shouldn't stop you from bossing up out here and doing the best you can. Somebody said, just go to in a slaughterhouse. Like, I'm pretty sure they hired pretty much anybody. Okay, they're saying you should work at a slaughterhouse. Where is this person at? You should work at a slaughterhouse. I mean, hey, if the job requirements get that crazy, you might need to just. I'm willing to do anything. I'm one of those people who are just like, hey, I'm willing to do anything for money out here, man. I have no, I do have morals though. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. Okay. Not that, okay? Leave me alone. But yeah, I do try to, really try to do as much as I can for the work. I'm not really picky about jobs. I kind of do whatever I need to do. All right, so this one says, many high school and college graduates join the military to avoid the job market, wait lists, and avoid poverty. If you are unalived on, okay, wow, okay. If they are unalived on active, wow, okay. So we're just going to talk about, yeah, we're going to talk about how it's easy to pivot, It's easy to pivot. If you really need to pivot, just make sure, you're pivoting to something in the field, But I like how he said you should join the military. I I think military is a good idea. I did actually think about joining the military a few times. I was in what is it called? ROTC in high school. So after high school, that was one of the main things I thought about. Anyway, I didn't mean to get off topic, people. I just wanted you guys to see his what is it called? His TikTok. Yeah. All right. Because I think it's important to shout out the people whose content I use. Because I think it's important to support people who support me. They don't even know they support me, but they are because I'm using their content. All right. Anyway, on to the next one.
Hey, did you just graduate?
Okay, see, I forgot to mute it again. All right. But yeah, this is one of my favorite content creators. He is hilarious. Oops, wrong one. Oh, this is not TikTok. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's why, because I gotta scroll up. All right, hey, minor delay here, people. Minor delay. I'm talking too much, and I wasn't thinking about what I'm doing on the computer. So remember, you gotta focus on both. You gotta focus on what you're talking about and the computer. Hey, I'm a one-man show here, man. I'm a one-man show, so I gotta do everything here. And I'm still a rookie. I promise you, I'm still a rookie. So you're gonna see a lot of mistakes like that one. I meant to click on this. All right. So anyway, here is a point of view of a guy who just graduated college. Okay, he just graduated college. He's feeling good about himself, and then he gets hit by reality. The reality that we all hit when we graduate college, and we think we're about to start making money out here and buying a car and getting a house and starting a family. And then you look out at the job market and you're like, what is this? Okay, let's see what he has to say. Oh, see, I forgot to unmute it. Another rookie mistake. Hey, I wonder how many rookie mistakes I'm going to make on this.
Hey, did you just graduate?
I sure did.
The cost of everything's up, so hey, good luck to you.
That's fine because I have a degree so I can get a high-paying job.
But to get a high-paying job, you need experience, not a degree.
Then why did I go to college?
Because you're an idiot. They would hire me over you.
But I went to college so I could get the experience.
No, you need experience, then college, then more experience to get the first job.
That doesn't make any sense.
Neither does rent. You're looking at about $3,000 a month.
$3,000
for a studio. Did you forget where you live? You live in the Bay Area. Star World. Yeah! Star World. Now that you live in the real world, there's no more free money.
Can I go back to school?
It's too late for you. You graduated already.
Oh, so then what? So what do I do now?
We have to pay your bills, so go work at McDonald's for the...
He said, go work at McDonald's. And yeah, that's what it's going to get you at. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. All right, let's finish.
I went to school for 4 years to work at McDonald's?
Well, how else are you going to pay your bills? You don't have any real world experience, just a degree.
I have my degree in accounting.
Good luck counting those burgers and fries. Good luck counting that change back. The only thing you're going to count is how many days till you pass.
Oh, this is a scam. I'm going back to live with my parents, and I'm going to go figure it out now because this is actually insane.
You wasted 4 years of your life.
So what did I go in debt for?
To make somebody else rich, but good luck with your degree.
Hey, did you look at your degree? Yeah, and that's how it is. Yeah, once you graduate, you hit the job market in the real world, and you're like, what is going on out here? It's like you kind of get sidetracked. Not sidetracked, but you kind of get hit over the head out of nowhere, and you're like, what happened? Like I thought I was gonna make money out here. I was ready to start my family. I was ready to move into a house. I was ready to start my life. And then it turns out you're gonna have to move back into your parents' house. And you just wasted tens of thousands, maybe $100,000 on loans. And have fun trying to pay that back with your McDonald's job. So yeah, it says when you get your degree just to be underqualified for a job. Yeah. Now that's where it hurts. Somebody says throw accounting jokes for bill and hurtful. Oh no. Have fun counting those burgers. Yeah, that was terrible. Yeah, life is actually crazy. That's what somebody said on there. Yeah. Yeah, this is why people say college is a scam, But it's really only a scam if you don't go to school for the right thing. This is why you need to go to school for the right thing, So it says, and now we won't be able to retire at old age. Yep. It's just a never ending cycle. Okay. Somebody says, rather go to train school and gain experience than to work and start my own company Oh, then work to start my own company in that trade. Now that's a good plan. Because first, you won't have a lot of college loans, so you'd be more likely to get accepted for a business loan. Because they won't see that you're already like $100,000 in debt for a loan for college. You know, so that's one thing. And also, you have a lot more time because what is it called? Trade schools are a lot shorter than what is it called? Like regular schools, like college. Trade schools are like 2 years. You learn your skill and you get out. It's way cheaper. So yeah, that's one thing. All right. So here's another thing. Somebody says that's why colleges. Sorry. Oh, that's why colleges with co-op programs are so amazing. They are, they are more or less make sure you graduate with experience at really good companies. Yeah. For my school, I got to at least do an internship. Yep, that's what it says. It says get as many internships as you can. But when you're trying to go through school, it's kind of hard to do internships because you're trying to focus on your classes. So you're gonna focus on your classes and work for free and be poor. Like that's where it's hard. Like, hey, we should do internships. But yeah, internships don't pay. A lot of internships don't pay. So you're doing an internship, and you're kind of just you got the experience from the internship, but you're not making money from the internship. So that's taking time out of your day from studying, and that's also taking time out of your day from making money so you can survive while you're in college. And if you're in college in 2025, I feel sorry for you. I don't know how you're gonna do it. I don't know. I don't know. Also, if you're in college in 2025, I hope you're doing something awesome. Okay, no lame degrees, please. No lame degrees if you're going to college right now. Um, Okay, so it says the scam is to work all throughout college. They expect you to build a resume while you're learning, but they never tell you that part. Yeah. Yeah, but you can't really work. But that's the thing also, because if you're working while you're in college, you can't work in your field. Yes, you can work, but you can probably work at McDonald's or Subway. My personal favorite job. But yeah, you can probably work at like McDonald's or Subway, but you can't really work in your field because you're still an undergrad. So all that work experience is just work experience at Subway, work experience at Chipotle, work experience at these little fast food, little supermarkets, type jobs. And that's not that's not anything related to your major. I mean, unless you're going to school for a major and making sandwiches, which I doubt. Okay, so yeah. All right. Somebody says, I worked at a warehouse. I worked at a warehouse manufacturing, and I know a middle-aged man who had a degree, and he was stuck in an entry-level position. Now that is egregious. Yeah. I've seen older people. Hey, older people are out here. They're trying to work. Older people are out here working just as hard as us now. They see this economy. They're probably like, you know what? I thought I was gonna be stopping. I thought I was about to go and chill at my house, see my grandkid, relax. Maybe go on vacation. Maybe hang out in the house, watch my what's it called? Old people like those game shows. I'm gonna watch some game shows. I'm just gonna go to the country club or I'm gonna go golfing. Whatever old people do. I'm not old yet. So I don't know. But depending on who you are, I'm not old yet. So yeah, like these old people thought that they was gonna be just hanging out, but in 2025, not so much. You see old people coming back into the work field, and you're like, yo, like man, I thought you were done. It's also a little what is it called? Unmotivating, When you see old people working hard, you're like, but you're old. You know, you should be chilling, you should be comfortable, you should be enjoying your life right now. So it kind of it's kind of a downer because you see old people working hard and you're like, well, if this guy is old and he's working hard, am I gonna be working as hard as him when I'm that old? It's kind of like, man, what is life at that point? You're just like, what is going on out here? So let me read like about two more of these. Somebody says, completing a college degree is actually a lot of work and respectable. And I feel like when people devalue degrees, it is not respectful. Okay, that's a stupid comment. I don't know why I read that one. Anyway, let's read this one. Somebody says, honestly, the method is military. For the experience, then college. For free, to stack the skills with a degree. Now, I think that's a good plan. You know, Whenever I hear people who don't know what they're doing in life or don't know where to go in life, or when they're really having a hard time trying to figure out exactly how they're going to make their next move in life, I'm like, hey, dude, have you thought about the military? You know, what do you think about the military? You need to really take that into consideration because it's a good opportunity for you to travel the world, meet a lot of people, experience different cultures. Maybe you can move to another country. Maybe if you, when you're moving around to these other countries, maybe you might like one and you might want to live there, move there and, enjoy your life there because America is just one country. But if you go to the military, you get to experience different countries. And hey, some of those countries you're going to be fighting in. So if you get stationed in Afghanistan, just know, well, maybe not Afghanistan. I'm pretty sure that war's over. But I'm pretty sure there's still military people in Afghanistan and things like that. But yeah, just know if you're about to go to Afghanistan or one of these Middle Eastern countries, just know you're about to be fighting. You ain't no, you know, ain't no enjoying life when you get out there. Maybe, but I'm pretty sure it's not much. Also, I've never been to the military, so I can't be 100%. But I mean, like when you get stationed to these places, like like maybe like Germany, maybe like Japan or things like that, you know, maybe you'll like it there. Maybe you might want to say, hey, I think I want to make a life here for myself. I think this is a good culture to get involved in, So always think about the military because they also have amazing benefits. Hey, look, I'm trying to sell the military. It's probably because I always wanted to go to the military. I always wanted to go to the Air Force, but things just worked out differently for me. And every once in a while, I think about it, but I'm like, it's kind of like a short thing now. For a long time, it was a thing that I was really trying hard to do, and then you know, I saw different opportunities, and I was like, you got to make a choice. You got to make a plan. You know. Anyway, let me not get into too much different details on that. Anyway, so college. See, I'm talking about military, and we're talking about college. I mean, college and military are kind of that's kind of related on the topic because you're in the same age group where you're trying to see what you want to do with your life, and instead of going to college, maybe you should go to the military because the military pays for college, but also there's a possibility that you can experience tremendous trauma. So you got to take that in consideration too, and being away from your family for a long time. Um, but also, yeah, it's sometimes it's impossible to pay the loans back. If you get a degree and you get a job, like let's say you work hard, you get a degree, but then you work at a low paying job, because your degree uh, is not really useful in that place. You don't really use your degree to its highest potential. If you are going to graduate with a degree, try to use that degree. Try to get into that specific field somewhere, so you feel like you're not wasting your money. You didn't waste your time, Um, Also, make sure you get a STEM degree. STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. So if you are going to go to college, please get a STEM degree. Make sure you get one of those jobs because they are really high paying, So, if you get a job as a, like an accounting, I'm pretty sure accountants get paid a lot. Engineers get paid a lot. People in tech get paid a lot. I'll be a little skeptical about tech because, they be laying people off left and right, AI be taking all their jobs. I don't know, man. Anyway, let's get into gloomy vibes. Oh yes, let's do it. All right, so next one is gloomy vibes. We're gonna talk about how you can't even get a simple job out here. People work hard, for a long time in college, and then they can't even get simple jobs. You be like, this should be a layup. Let me just get a job until I find a job in my major. You know, I want a job in this, and I want to. Maybe you went to school for like marine biology or something. There's really no marine biology jobs out here right now. But while I'm waiting or looking for a new job, I'm just going to apply here. Obviously, surely I should be able to get a job here, right? And then you apply, and then it's not this. It's not the. It's not what you expected. And you're kind of sitting there like, wait a minute, hold on. But I thought I was going to get a job in marine biology. What happened? I really tried my best. So. Oh, wait a minute. I got to see if I can go here. Oh, no. Now I don't know which one is the. Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's something you really need to think about when you go into these jobs. Like, what can I really do to make sure I'm not wasting my time? You know, so I don't want you to waste your time out here, man. All right. So, is this the right one? I think this is the right one. All right. Anyway, so here's a guy. He's going to be talking about how. Oh, wait, not this one. Hold on. Wait a minute. We're jumping the gun here a little bit. Just a little bit here, you guys. Let's let me hold your horses. Hold your heads. I got this thing figured out. I promise. Oh my goodness. All right. I hope this is the right one. It don't look like it, but hey. Let's see if this is it. All right. It looks like this is it. Let's watch the video. Let's see if it's right. All right.
I thought y'all meant like 6-figure jobs. Why did I just get rejected for a job? At Walmart, bro. No. Maybe I didn't hear me right. Walmart, gang. I have a 4-year college degree. I went to college. I thought going to college was the answer. But no, this economy literally tells you after a college degree, if you don't have a direct relationship with the CEO of the company, you're cooked. I have been auto applying on Sprout for the last 3 months in hopes to get a job that pays me anything above $15 an hour. And I'm just getting rejected left and right. Moral of the story is this. If you've got a job right now in this economy, keep your job, please, because it's rough out here. When y'all said the job.
All right. So he said, look, man, it's hard out here, even to get a job at Walmart. But I will say it doesn't look like he's trying hard enough. Hey, look, devil's advocate here. If you got to swipe for a job, I'm going to swipe right. I'm going to swipe left. I'm going to swipe right. That's probably not a good way to get a job, okay? Because you know what? Everybody else is swiping left, swiping right, swiping left. You need to have a really dedicated plan when you go for jobs, okay? You need to stalk these jobs, okay? When I look for a job, my job is looking for a job, okay? If I'm ever looking for a job, the job is looking for a job. That means I am stalking these people. I am calling them. I am going up to the job. I am trying to find people that work there. I'm not trying to find people that work. That kind of sounds creepy. But you know what I mean? I'm trying to find people that, I mean online. I don't mean like, hey, you work here. Come here. Let me talk to you. That'd be crazy. I mean, hey, I mean like, you're trying to like get more information about the job. I'm not just swiping left and right on the phone. Anyway, here's this guy. His name is Prep June. So drop him a like or follow if you like his content. Also, let him know that I'm showing people his video on my page, on my profile. Let him know, like, hey, the guy Clyde, he featured you on the show. Here's a link, and you're in this segment. You're in the Gloomy Vibes segment. Just, hey, if you don't want to watch the whole show, just fast forward to that part, and that's where he's talking about you. And he's roasting you about not trying hard enough to find a job. Yeah, anyway, you need to stalk these jobs, though. You need to be on their neck. You need to be calling them. And then I would call them, and then I would try to get a date and a time of when I should hear back from them, just so I can get them saying, hey, when am I going to hear back from you? I apply for a job online, and then I go in, and I'm like, hey, I applied for the job. And then they're like, hey, okay, yeah, we saw you apply for the job. We're looking at your resume. I'll be like, okay, bet. When am I going to hear back from this job? And then they say, you're going to hear back from us by Thursday if you got the job or not. Okay, got it. I go home on Thursday. I call them, hey, job, did y'all look at my resume yet? Oh, no, we didn't yet. Or, hey, yeah, we did, and we think this. Okay, what'd you think? When can I come in for an interview? And then maybe I get a date for the interview. If I can't get a date for an interview, when am I going to get a date for the interview? Or I need to know why I didn't get accepted. Hey, why did you deny? Like, what do I need? Hey, we chose to go with somebody else. Well, why? Because now that I know I'm not getting this job, I need some feedback. I need to know what I can do better next time. What can I do to be a good candidate for this position? And if they see you're that dedicated, they might be like, you know what? Let me take another look at this guy's job. He seems like he really want to work here. He seems like he is dead serious. And this guy just doesn't seem that dead serious. He seems like he's kind of mailing it in, He's kind of treating it like a match on Tinder, Swipe left, swipe right. I don't know. Maybe I like this job. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'll find a match. You're not just going to find a match. You need to go to the job. You need to speak to somebody in person. People need to know your face. Here's this guy again. He's coming for this job. Man, he keeps coming back to back. He keeps coming in, talking about this job. Let me talk to this guy. You know? So I would say stalk these jobs, okay? Until you get a definite no. And once you do get a definite no, try to get why they told you no. And then use that feedback to find another job. Anyway, let's find some of these comments. Somebody says, overqualified is a real thing, bro. I mean, yeah, but at the end of the day, hey, if I'm overqualified and I'm applying for this job, let me get this job. You know, let me show you. Because, like, people act like it's a bad thing to be overqualified. Yes, I can be overqualified for this job, but also I know there's different positions at this job, you know. This is not the only position at this job. Yes, I'm overqualified for this position at this job, but let me work here for a couple months. Let me work here for a few months. Let me work here for a year or two. Then y'all can see that I got what it takes to be promoted at this job. You know, like I know your manager is probably maybe the supervisor is less qualified than me. Okay, so I'm going to get into this job. I'm going to work under that supervisor, and then once that supervisor leaves or get fired or something like that, or maybe another position open within the company, I can hop in there. You know, I'm just trying to get my foot in the door. You know, if I know I get my foot in the door with this entry level easy job, that's what I'm going to do. And I think that's what you should do. You know, don't be scared to start from the bottom. Okay, I'm always willing to start from the bottom. Hey, I really want this type of job. I'm willing to work for. I'm willing to start from the bottom. You know, and show y'all how good I am at this job, so y'all can be like, yo, we gotta give this guy a better position. Like, you know, we can't lose this guy. You know, somebody says, apply for a job that doesn't require experience. Got turned down because I didn't have any experience. Oh no, wait, I don't get it. Apply for a job that yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Or like what I don't like is when they say you don't have specific experience. Hey, yeah, you got experience in this job, but you don't have specific experience at this part of the job. And it's like, what? You think I can't learn this part of the job? You know, like, huh? You know, I've had somebody tell me that before. Like, hey, yeah, I mean, you've got experience, but you don't have experience in this part of the job. And I'm like, okay, but I mean, let me work here so y'all can see that I can do this part of the job too. Like, my actions speak louder than what I already know how to do, you know? Yes, I'm a fry cook here. And yes, I don't have any experience being a manager of fry cooks. However, I know everything about being a fry cook. I know everything there is to know about being a fry cook. Okay. So I just need a little bit of training to tell me how I can do more, you know. Because you see the manager, the supervisor. The supervisor doing pretty much the same thing as the cookers. You know, if you a fry cook at a place, sometimes the supervisor is going to come down there and he's going to be frying. You know, he's going to be frying some chicken too. You know, he's going to be over there switching. You know, turning stuff over too. You know, the supervisor is like the middle position where they still do a lot of work in the field, but they also do some paperwork. You know, and that's like the middle ground. You know. Like, yes, I already know how to do everything fire cook related. Yes, I'm a master fry cook. However, let me be a supervisor. Because then I'm going to know, since I know everything about being a fry cook, okay, I'm going to know everything about how I can manage fry cookers. You know, hey, you got to make sure you turn it this time. You got to make sure you do that or this time, you know, because I've did it 100 times. I could do this in my sleep at this point, you know. So I'm a good person to provide supervision and provide like knowledge of different ways to do things and how to do things better, you know? So anyway, I didn't mean to go too much off on that. You know, hey, the rants are a part of the show, okay? Hey, I'm a one-man show, you know? Hey, this is the vibes, you know? This is the Vibes by Clyde. I'm Clyde, and I'm doing everything here. So, hey, you know, let's do it. The next thing says, same with McDonald's, Panda Express, JC Mike's, etc. It's ridiculous. Okay, whatever. Nobody cares about that. Somebody says, jobs complain about employees not wanting to work, then refuse and ignore people that want to work. I mean, hey. But also, I believe that jobs do get that imposter syndrome. Not the imposter syndrome, but the the old the chameleons, you know. People come in and they work hard for the first few days, first few weeks, and then they just completely slack off and they're on their phones and they're talking to other people, they're doing what the fuck, they're doing what the freak they want to do. They're kind of doing their own thing, you know. So that's also what employers are probably dealing with. You know, they're like, okay, yes, you're saying you're a good employee. Yes, you work good the first few weeks, but like, how are you going to do long term? You know, you got to make sure you keep up that momentum at your job. If you're working, make sure you're not slacking off. Okay. Like I said earlier, make sure you are hustling at your job. Make sure you are working hard at your job. Okay. I'm telling you right now, hey, make sure you are the best at your job. Every job I do the best I can. I want to be the best at whatever job I'm doing. Okay. That's just how I am, you know. It's a competition for me, and like life is a competition. You know, your job is a competition. Your coworkers are your competition. You know, even your supervisor is your competition. Because you know what? What happens? What happens when that supervisor gets another promotion? You know, now you're gonna be trying to get into your supervisor's position. You know, and at that point, you know, your supervisor is gonna be the person that's gonna say yes or no to you because they're like, hey, I'm pretty sure they might have some say in the next person that comes in to fill their position. They've been supervising you this whole time. They know how you work. They know who you are. They know exactly, you know, if you're going to be a good fit or not. I would say the supervisor probably knows, you know, best at that point. So you really want to get a good relationship with your supervisor and make sure your supervisor knows that you work hard. All right. Anyway, it says, getting turned down by Target changed my whole perspective when I was younger. Yeah, I mean, when I graduated college, I think I also got rejected by some retail places. You know, I didn't really take it too seriously because I hate retail anyway. I worked at one retail job before, and it was a nightmare. I could not stand the mundane, boring routine of those jobs. You know, oh my god. Then, but what got me really was the music. You know, the music at those retail jobs, they play the same music sometimes, and it will drive you crazy, especially around the holiday season. You hear the same holiday songs over and over, and it gets burned into your head. Anyway, so it says, work a night job, work a night job, twin. I make $19 an hour, and all I did was graduate high school. I mean, yeah, those night jobs do get paid. I mean, they do pay. Sometimes they pay more when you work those night jobs. So I do agree on that one. Um, Somebody said college is a scam unless you're going into medical or law field. See, didn't I say that? Medical field or law? Hey, I was right on it there. Somebody says I have an engineering degree and I couldn't even get a call back from Burger King. Oh my goodness. They probably saw you and they were like, yeah, overqualified. But at the same time, hey, yes, I'm overqualified. But I know y'all probably need an engineer at this Burger King, okay? Let me get in to this job, and then maybe I can get you know, maybe I can get in there. You know, maybe I could be an engineer from Burger King. You don't know what my life goals are. You know, maybe how you know I didn't work my whole life so I can one day be a Burger King engineer or maybe a McDonald's engineer. You know, what if I really want to figure out why these machines are always broken? It's like, no, let me stop coming at McDonald's. I love McDonald's, by the way. Okay. Well, I just reignited my love for McDonald's. I didn't get in a long time. And now I got back into it, you know. Uh, it's hard for me though. I only get fast food I get fast food very rarely because I can't do it too much. Somebody says, this is why I'm not going to college, people. Uh, don't give a F about it anymore. Okay. Let's read two more. I'm sorry. I like these comments. Anyway, got rejected from fast food places after a legitimate restaurant. Yeah, people get rejected from fast food places a lot. Um, I tried to work fast food when I was in oh my goodness, when I was in high school, but yeah, also got rejected. It says I have 5 years experience in the medical field, 2 years experience working with the homeless, and I can't get a customer service job paying $16 an hour. Now that is ridiculous. Yeah, I feel sorry for you, woman. Yeah, because sometimes they don't care about your work experience a lot of those times. So you really got to take that in consideration. Like, hey, we don't care about your experience. You know, we just want to, you know, they want who they want sometimes. You know, sometimes they already got somebody in house who they already know they're going to hire, but they're just kind of wasting your time, but not really because they really want to see like, hey, I really want to. They may be thinking, I might hire this guy who already works here, but let me just see what else we got. Let me just look out there. You know, let me just play the field, see what's going on. And then 9 times out of 10, they probably still go with the guy that already works there, who's been working his ass off for a long time. All right. Anyway, let's get on to. Oops, I made a mistake and open something else. That was a mistake. All right. Hey, rookie mistakes. You didn't see that mistake, but it was a pretty bad mistake. I'm glad you didn't see it. All right. So yeah, you can't get a simple job sometimes. Yeah, simple jobs are, hey, they turn up the heat. They don't care. But yeah, it's more competition nowadays. Because you got old people in the job market. A lot of old people are coming out of retirement and getting right into the job market, getting right into that entry level job position that you want to apply for, getting right into those, those jobs. You got young people, you got women, you got men, you got disabled people. Everybody's, people with disabilities. It's a lot of competition out there, and the job market is getting really small, getting really small. There was a time when there was only men working at jobs, or at least working most jobs and paying for most things in the household. But now there's also women working in the in the work field. And then it was like, okay, we got nothing but men and women working in the work field, and then all of a sudden you got old people working in the job market, you know, old women and men working in the job market. You're like, okay, now there's a lot of people, you know. And then on top of that, you still got younger people applying in the work field. People just, people still in high school, people just trying to make some extra dollars, in the field. So it's a lot of competition. So yeah, post COVID, I would say jobs did get more difficult to get. People were doing the whole work from home thing during COVID, and I'm assuming, people got comfortable. People got comfortable doing those work from home jobs. And then what happened? A lot of those jobs got erased, or they made people come back into the job, and people are like, I'm not trying to do this. They're like, yeah, I'm not about to do this. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, this next video is about a guy who was talking about the job market and how it is cooked. I mean, yeah, the job market, it does seem pretty cooked right now. If you're trying to get into almost any field. As they said, it's even hard to get into fast food and retail jobs, which I thought were probably which should be some of the easiest jobs to get into, really. They should be. Should be. I'm not saying they are, but they should be some of the easiest jobs to get into, just because they require the least amount of skills. The jobs that anybody can do. A 16-year-old can do these jobs, But even those jobs are like, yeah, we want more, It's people out here with master's degrees who are, not making 80, 100K a year, and they've been working hard in their field for years, and even they don't have it. So yeah, I would say that, hey, you can make more money. You can make money by yourself, especially if you're a hard worker like me. Hey, like I said, you should be able to make a lot of money out here. Oops, I forgot to unmute it. Okay, so it says stop underestimating the job market in history. Stop underestimating the worst job market in history, the 2025 job market. So they're saying the worst job market is the job market we're in right now. All right, and this is coming from a real recruiter, So take that in consideration. It says, I am still shocked how many people in my comment section. Okay. All right, so let's hear what you got to say.
In my comment sections are underestimating how cooked the corporate job market is. I've been in recruiting for coming up to a decade in July, and I've literally never seen candidates struggle as much as they are right now on the job market. And these are not poor candidates. These are not people who are unqualified. These are some of the most qualified people I've ever seen on the job market, and they are struggling. I'm hearing about people who are applying to thousands of jobs and not hearing anything back from any company. I'm hearing about longer and longer rounds of interviews, like 6, 7, 8, or 9 rounds of interviews. And some people go through that and then they get ghosted. I'm hearing about assessments, like personality assessments, take-home work, which a lot of times is unpaid. And I'm hearing about this over and over. And then when it comes to the offer stage, I'm seeing people get intentionally lowballed. Like they ask for 85K and the company comes back with 65K. And I know what the company is thinking. They're thinking, if this person doesn't accept, somebody else is desperate enough to accept, and we can get a deal. We can literally get somebody really talented for cheap. Welcome to the 2025 job market. I am still shocked how many people in my comment sections are underestimating how cooked the corporate job market is.
Yeah. Hey, he said a lot of real stuff right there. Like I like the part that he said about jobs lowballing people. Because they got endless interviews. They got endless supply of resumes. When you have, you know, when you have a high amount of resumes coming in, you can pretty much, pick and choose who you want. And, they have a tremendous amount of leverage since they have so many different options. Um, and people are just kind of stuck, and I can't imagine how hard that can be for people out here trying to find a job in this marketplace. Let's read some of the comments. Somebody says, I'm convinced the world ended in 2020 and we're in hell. Okay, that's a that's a gloomy statement. That's pretty gloomy. I mean, this is gloomy vibes. So hey, it's gonna get sad here. Somebody says I got ghosted after 5 rounds of interviews. Now that is egregious. Okay, that person needs. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, that person needs to not. I think that would make me lose a lot of momentum. That make me lose a lot of, motivation. I'd be like, why am I trying so hard if they're just gonna reject me after I tried so hard to get this job? Somebody says, all these companies think AI will save them fortune. Somebody says, every job post, every job posting needs to have a comment section. That would work. I think that's a good idea. I need people to tell me what the job really entails, okay? And not just pissed off, not just people that's mad about the job because they got fired for something that they actually deserved. I'm talking about people that actually worked hard at a job and still, you know, didn't get paid well and things like that. All right, so this one says, I got laid off in October, had 5 interviews between then and June, and ended up taking $15,000 pay cut in a position I started 3 days ago. Wow. Now that's the hardest thing to start a job and get a pay cut. Oh my God, I can't imagine. Like, it's like starting all over. But sometimes you do need to, humble yourself and start from the bottom. Start from the bottom. Somebody said, not. I'm assuming that means no job. No job should have more than 3 or 4 rounds of interviews. It's a C-suit rule, or you're trying to become a spy. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Like, why you got so many rounds of interviews? Like, am I trying to be a secret agent out here? Like, am I going to get a, am I going to get a pew pew, you know, with a silencer and a bulletproof vest? If not, then I probably don't need 5 rounds of interviews. Okay. Somebody says everyone is qualified and nobody is hiring. And yeah, that's what I mean by like the jobs have extreme leverage because they have so many people qualified and so many people applying that they can just kind of, go out and get what they need from these people looking for jobs. Oh, also his name up here. Let me make sure show you the name. Here's his name up here. The realist recruiter. Okay, so he's the realist recruiter. Somebody says, yeah, I'm not working for free. These companies should be called out online so candidates can bypass that nonsense. Maybe you can inform us of these companies. Okay, that's a good idea. Maybe start a forum where they talk about the jobs that are wasting people's time. Because last thing I want to do is waste my time looking for a job, instead of making money at a job. Okay, somebody says, I've been looking for a job for 9 months. I got laid off last December. All the jobs online are fake. Wow. Hey, and we're gonna hear about that in the main event. So keep posted right here, okay? Because we're gonna talk about that. All right. Also, it says from the inside, it's honestly 100% from over analyzing. Corporate America is being crippled by itself. Yeah. So that's just a few comments to show you how, regular people are really feeling the sting of these jobs you know, not hiring and, doing a lot just to get a job and lowballing you and really making you feel like you're not qualified for a job that you are probably overqualified for, in some cases. So That's some more gloomy vibes for you here. Let's see what else we got. So yeah, sometimes experienced workers having a hard time getting a job too. You think, hey, I got 10 years experience. I should be able to get out here and get a decent job in this field for a good amount of money. And you go out and you're like, what? It's crickets out there. You're like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Um, but yeah, now we're gonna get into another video about a boomer. He's gonna talk about the difference between his growing up and the growing up that these younger generations are coming up with. You know, and the pay difference of these younger generations. You know, because it's a big difference between the workforce now and the workforce back then, and especially the pay now and the pay back then. So that's going to be the biggest difference there, because you have people who work for who's working and getting like $40,000 a year now just to start. And back then $40,000 a year was probably a lot. Probably like, wait, $40,000 a year, I could feed my whole family up for the $40,000 a year. Meanwhile, now, with inflation and, maybe even price gouging, it's going to be kind of hard to get by with $40,000 a year. If you want to, especially if you want to support an entire family. Yeah, you need almost maybe $400,000 or $500,000 a year to support an entire family by yourself. And that's the minimum. I'm pretty sure you probably need more than that even. All right, so let's take a look at this video. You can't see the top, but it says only $17 an hour. What do you mean by $17 an hour? So this is an older guy. He looks about, maybe he's a boomer or a older Gen X. I'm gonna call him a boomer. I think he's a boomer. Anyway, I don't know how old this guy is. I'm really bad at generations anyway. But anyway, this guy's gonna talk about how $17 an hour was a lot back in his day, but now not so much, not so much nowadays. $17 an hour nowadays is like chump change. So we're gonna watch this video and see his perspective and what he thinks about teenagers making $17 an hour. $17 an hour.
I'd like to say it's comical, but really sad, to be honest with you. I was talking to a friend of mine on the phone earlier, and he said his nephew was complaining that he just got a job. Now, just started in the workforce, 18-year-old. He said, how you liking your new job? He said, I like it okay. He said, the only problem is it only pays $17 an hour. Now, 18-year-old, just hit the workforce, and it only pays $17 an hour. Now, I don't know what the...
Yeah, $17 an hour after high school, and you didn't go to college, and you get $17 an hour. That must be crazy for somebody his age. He probably came up working where he got paid maybe like $3 or $4 an hour. And he's like, what? I was getting paid $3 an hour back in my day. And you complain about $17 an hour? But yeah, it's a generational, divide, because we have people out here who are really having a hard time making ends meet on $17 an hour. So, even though that would have been great back then in your day, it's not the same now.
Young man does. I don't know. He might be shoveling gravel. That's a pretty tough job. He might be digging trenches. It's a pretty tough job. But more than likely, he's probably flipping burgers. I don't know. But he's complaining about only making $17 an hour. And my mind went back 25 years ago when I was working on a construction job with a man. And I was leading the crew. Me and my brother was kind of leading together. But we were leading crews at $14 an hour. Reading blueprints. Cutting rafters. Stair stringers. Just overseeing a job. And we were paid $14 an hour. Driving an hour one way and an hour back home. And to hear somebody at 18-year-old say it only pays $17 an hour. Now, mind you, when we were doing that, we had families at $14 an hour. And a 17-year-old boy still living at home with his mom and daddy complaining about making only $17 an hour. What world are we living in?
Yeah, and hey, I kind of feel his pain because, hey, when I was younger, man, I remember thinking, if I can get a job that makes I remember $10.50 was my limit. I remember I was like, hey, if I can make $10.50 an hour, no, I didn't have a job. I didn't have my own house. I didn't have my own car and things like that. But I remember thinking, if I made $10.50 an hour, I'll be making so much money. Because at that time I was making about like maybe like $7.50 an hour, maybe like $7 and yeah, maybe $7.50 an hour probably. I remember thinking like if I made $10.50 an hour, I'd be great. I was also in college, so in college you don't really need too much money. But yeah, inflation will do that. Yeah. Inflation will make $17 an hour look like chump change. Somebody says in the comments here, it says, so your $14 an hour in 2000 would be equivalent to $26 an hour in 2025. It's a good observation. Uh, the median value of a home in 2000 was 11, I'm sorry, 19, 1000, let me say this right, $119,600. I don't know why that was so hard. Um, However, it's 2025. You know, it's $410,000 for that same house. When you say like that, without taking into account inflation and the general state of the economy, it makes you look incredibly ignorant. And I'm gonna say that I'm gonna agree with her on that one because yeah, you look kind of crazy out here complaining about talking about how $17 an hour used to be a lot. But I don't think he's really talking about. I don't think he's saying it in that type of way. I think he's saying it in a way like, hey, the world. Like at the end, he said, hey, like what's going on in the world today? I don't think he was saying it as an. I don't think he was saying it in a way like, hey, $17 an hour should be enough for you to live off of. I think he's saying in a way like, hey, like what's going on in the world, like, you know, where you can make $17 an hour and be happy, as a teenager, not a teenager, but like a young adult living with your parents. I think that's how he's saying it. But I understand where she's coming from, because yeah, inflation did do it did a number on us. It really did. And I'm pretty sure after COVID, inflation jumped like maybe 30%. And, you know, COVID, I think, just fast forwarded everything. COVID just jumped. I think we were already going here, but I think COVID just fast forwarded like 5 years. So, yeah, we're living, I'm pretty sure we would have been getting this. This probably would have been happening in 2030. But since we had COVID, that fast forwarded. So now we're going through this right now. And I think it's like a shock to everybody's system. Like, what the heck is going on? How are we in this much inflation this fast? And I'll tell you how fast. COVID, And, not just COVID. I'm pretty sure there's other things, but I'm pretty sure COVID had a lot to do with it. I'm no financial guru, okay? I'm going to tell you this now. Don't take financial, important financial advice from me. I'm just saying. Okay, so it looked like he responded. Is that his name? Okay, yeah, Jackson Ross. Okay, he says, okay, now let me see if I'm right. I thought he was just saying it as in a way of saying, hey, I'm just telling you how life is. I'm not saying that it was, that I think you can live off of it. I'm just saying. Anyway, so he says, dude, when you made 14, okay, so let's read his response, the creator's response. Also, shout out to this guy. Make sure you follow him or like him, if you're interested in this guy's content. Anyway, here it goes. It says, where's it at? Okay. Once again, you're another one that missed the whole point of the post. I never said it was a good wage. Thank you. That's what I said. I'm like, yeah, what she's saying makes sense, but I think he was trying to just say, in general, the job, you should be. I think you were just talking in general, like, hey, like in general, yes, $17 an hour is not good enough to live off of, but like, hey, it like, what is the world coming to? Not, I don't think he was saying it as like, hey, you should be able to live off of it. Hey, you should be able to do this. You should be able to lead a team like me when I was, or maybe you should be able to take care of a whole family with $17 an hour. I think he was just saying it in a way like, hey, like this is just where the world is right now. This is just how, this is just how we are. This is just our reality. And I think he just coming to a realization that, wow, like we've come a long way just in my lifetime, since I've been here, So yeah, he said, I never said it was a good wage, but for a kid just starting out, I guess from my point of view, he should start out at double that he's getting paid before in my training days. Okay. Yes, sir. Sounds like a good argument you have here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Like I was saying, I think that he would. He lost me on that last few sentences. I don't know what he was trying to say. I also butchered it, so leave me alone. This is reading with Clyde. All right. Anyway, let's read a few more comments. Somebody says, I know, I know what inflation is, old boy. Oh, that's what he says. He says it's called inflation, Graham. He said, I know what inflation is, old boy. You missed the whole premise of the point. The post. A kid who never worked a job and starts at $17 an hour is a good start, a good place to start. Okay, so he's just trying to say, hey, you should be grateful that you're getting $17 an hour, is what he's trying to say, you know? Like, I think he's trying to say you shouldn't be complaining about getting $17 an hour. You know, you just starting your life. You know, what did you think was going to happen? You know, that's probably where he's coming from on that. Um, so somebody says, can you see my highlight? Oh, you can. Okay. So you can see which one I'm reading. Okay. So somebody says, I can only wish I were this blissfully unaware. But again, I don't think you got the point of what he's trying to say. Let's do a few more. 17 years ago? Come on, man. 25 years ago? Come on, man. Yeah, somebody else said, that's a good point. Somebody says he's living with his parents because he makes $17 an hour. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. You think I would be living with my parents if I didn't make $17 an hour? I would definitely not be living with my parents. I'll be living somewhere else with, maybe a family if I could afford one. But I can't afford one, so now I'm living with my parents. I'm still living with a family, just not the one I created. All right. Anyway, somebody says, we're living in a world where $17 an hour can barely buy you a Subway sandwich. For some, it will take more than an hour of their life to pay for a Subway sandwich. And that's what I think. Like when I started thinking about how long I worked for things, it really changed your perspective, you know. And that's before taxes. You'd be like, okay, well, I make $17 an hour. This burger costs $17 an hour. Hey, I make $17 an hour, and this sandwich costs $17. So you're eating it, and you're like, I'm eating an hour of my life, you know. And that's a terrible way to think about things. But that's how I think about it sometimes. Like when I'm spending money, I'm just like, okay, so this was 6 hours of my life. Okay, so this was 5 hours of my life. Okay, so this is 2 hours of my life, you know. And you don't even take into account the taxes, you know, that you get. Okay, so somebody did say it was a boomer. Where's it at? It's different on mine. Okay, somebody says, boomers, man. With inflation, that $6 an hour you were making 4 years ago should have been $24 an hour. Yeah. So yeah, inflation will do a number on you and have you thinking, you know, wait, what's going on in the world right now? When really what's happening is inflation is happening. That's what's happening. Hey, what's happening in the world? Inflation. That's what's happening. Yes, that's exactly what's happening. All right. So we got a boomer versus Gen Z here. Somebody says, yep, inflation, cost of living increases. You know, I like to think that the necessities and the needs flipped, you know. I think back then it was easy to live. I didn't live back then, but hey, I heard this somewhere. It was easy to live off of, you know, maybe it was easier to pay rent back then. Maybe it was easier to have a car back then. Maybe it was easier to have things that you needed back then, but you didn't have things that you wanted. You didn't have the big TV. You didn't have, the latest electronics. You know, you didn't have the nicest couch. You know, but you had a place. You couldn't afford the nicest couch. You know, but now you can. Now you can. Hold on, give me a sec. Oh, crap. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to snap. I tried to mute my mic. That didn't work. Hey, rookie mistakes. Okay, I promise you will never hear another sneeze from me. Don't leave yet. I promise you won't get sick from getting a sneeze in your ears right now, okay? All right. So now we're going to move on to some real vibes. We're going to talk about how college graduates can't even find jobs out here. Just like that guy in our earlier video. And how he was having a hard time finding a job, even though he graduated, you know, with his degree. He was all happy, like, yeah, I'm about to make some money. And then he got out there and he was like, nope, no, you ain't. You ain't making no money out here. Get out of here. We ain't got no money for you. I'm just playing. You ain't got no money for you. I don't know. Find something else to do. All right. So we have this article here titled A Black Hole. New graduate discovered a dismal job market. I'm sorry, I only got a few sound bites that I know how to use. Okay, I'll have more next time. But for now, I'm trying to get used to using like 3 or 4 sound bites, and then I'll move on to 5 or 6, and then there'll be sound bites all through the videos. Okay, give me time. I'm trying to learn how to work the sound bites and when to use the sound bites and how they sound when I use the sound bites. So hey, let's take it one step at a time. This the Vibes by Clyde out here, man. We trying. You know, I'm a one man show. So by Shannon Petterpiece is her name. All right, we're gonna hear AI read this article because reading McLaren's is not gonna work. By this time of the show, my brain is kind of fried. Okay, so hey, let's let AI read it so I don't butcher this whole paragraph. All right, let's hear it.
Recent college graduates searching for jobs are finding that practical degrees, work experience, and even connections are no match for sluggish hiring. Create your free profile or log in to save this article. Recent graduates looking to enter an increasingly shaky labor market are painting a dire picture of their job search, a black hole, one said. I'm disheartened, said another. I almost feel like it wasn't worth going to school, said a third. NBC News asked people who recently finished technical school, college, or graduate school how their job application process was going, and in more than 100 responses, the graduates described months spent searching for a job, hundreds of applications and 0 responses from employers even with degrees once thought to be in high demand, like computer science or engineering. Some said they struggled to get an hourly retail position or are making salaries well below what they had been expecting in fields they hadn't planned to work in.
All right, yeah. So hey, like we said earlier, you know, that guy he said, hey, I'm having a hard time even working at a retail job. You know, that's not fake. That is not, you know, that might sound funny. You know, it's you know, that's why we have satire. You know, but satire is sometimes some of the realest stuff you can hear because, you know, sometimes when people have really big problems like that, or we turn to comedy because comedy tells us how it is in a funny way, you know, and it makes it relatable, you know, without making us feel all gloomy, you know. But we do have the gloomy segment for that, you know. But anyway, let's finish this. Let's finish some more about this article. Let's hear what else they got to say.
It was very frustrating, said Jensen Kornfeind, who graduated this spring from Temple University with a degree in international trade. Out of 70+ job applications, I had 3 job interviews, and out of those 3, I got ghosted from 2 of them.
Well, I guess a lot of people out here getting ghosted by jobs. Man, you know what? I think I would much rather get ghosted by a girl than a job, you know? At least with a girl, you know, hey, if I got ghosted by a girl, you know, tough, whatever, you know. I'll maybe I'll get to talk to another girl, you know. Maybe this wasn't the one. Maybe she wasn't the one. But once you get ghosted by a job, that's your, you know, that's kind of your life, you know. You kind of maybe it really makes you feel bad because you're like, what is my value? You know, especially if you apply for a low paying job, let's say you apply for McDonald's. You're like, you know what? I'm just going to reach at the bottom. I haven't been getting any responses. Let me apply to McDonald's. You apply to McDonald's, you get denied by McDonald's. That would have you feeling crazy sad, you know? Could you be like, wait, if I got rejected from McDonald's, I can't apply anywhere. You know, when you think about an easy job, a job that's easy to get into, a job that should basically let anybody in, you know, anybody can do the job. If you get denied by that type of job, that's going to really crush your self-esteem, and it might even make you quit, you know, just completely kind of give up, or maybe try, you know, to make some money in some illegal way or some immoral way, you know, and you're just like, you know what, forget it. I'm just going to do this then, you know, since nobody wants to hire me anyway. But please don't get that sad. Don't get into that rabbit hole, you know. You should always try to shoot as high as you can, but never against starting from the bottom. You know, if you got to take a pay cut, take a pay cut if you have to for a little while. Try not to stay in the job too long, just to keep you from being homeless if you need to. You know, um, I always feel like I'm one day away from working at Subway. You know, that's my go-to job. I already know as soon as if I get, laid off from any job, I'm gonna be like, Subway, here I come. Chipotle, here I come. You know, this is why you need to have multiple streams of incomes, so you can pivot easier. You know, you need to get some skills. You know, you need to work on other types of skills when you're not at work. I'm telling you right now, the job market is only going to get more difficult, and they're only going to pay people less money. So I'm thinking that you might be able to use this internet we have here, this very free internet that we have here, to make some money if you can, figure it out. I mean, I don't know what's going to be work for you. I don't even know what's going to work for me, so I can't tell you what's going to happen there. So let's see what else this article has to say.
The national economic data backs up their experience. The unemployment rate among recent graduates has been increasing this year to an average of 5.3%, compared to around 4% for the labor force as a whole, making it one of the toughest job markets for recent graduates since 2015, according to an analysis by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York released Friday. Recent college graduates are on the margin of the labor market, and so they're the first to feel when the labor market slows and hiring slows, said Jason Abel, an economist at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Across the economy, hiring in recent months has ground to its slowest pace since the start of the pandemic, with employers adding just 73,000 jobs in July, according to data released Friday. The number of longer-term unemployed people who have been out of work for more than 27 weeks increased last month by 179,000 to 1.8 million. In short, it's a pretty stable market for those who have a job, but a much more challenging one for those who are trying to get one, economists.
Wow. Okay. So they said, hey, if you already got a job, maybe you're good. But if you're trying to get a job, you're screwed. you know, that's kind of what I took from that. Like that seems, yeah. So they're saying, hey, if you're a recent grad, you about to get flayed out here. Prepare to live with your parents for an extended period of time. You thought you're moving out? No, you're not moving out. And hey, kudos and congrats to everybody that really did get to move out of their parents' house at 18 or 19, or after you finish college. If you finished college and you didn't have to live back with your parents, kudos to you. You are out here winning. And if you haven't, then you need to hey, you got to boss up, man. You need to get out there, and if you have to work two jobs, you got to work two jobs. You got to figure this out. The bad part is, though, if you're working two jobs and the second job is kind of like a dead end job, you kind of burn the net. Then what is it called? You're burning the candle at both ends at that point. If you're working two dead end jobs, you really burn the candle at two ends. So please try to find a skill. Try to get some type of license. Go to a trade school. Or, if you really out of options, I would really recommend joining the military and be careful out there. I really respect people in the military. A lot of my family's in the military. And yeah, just please, try to find something. Don't be out here floundering, out here smoking every day, And people say weed is not addictive, but I'm sorry. I think weed is. I mean, even if it's not addictive, I think it's addictive. But let's say it's not addictive. Even if it's not addictive, like, look, you're wasting a lot of time. You're wasting a lot of time sitting there smoking, So if you listen to me right now, if you listen to this podcast right now, and you're smoking weed, you need to put it down, okay? You need to be listening to me and applying for jobs, okay? Or you need to be looking to me and working on your other skill, or thinking about another skill to work on. Figure out something, man, because hey, I'm hoping that you're going to be successful. I really want you to be successful. And I really want to encourage you to be successful. I really want to kick you in the stomach and be like, hey, man, you're not listening, man. You need to get on it, Sometimes we need a little push, I really wish I could be that push for you. But, hey, you need to get out there and do the work yourself at some point. All right, let's see what else they have to say about this about these graduates.
Said, driving that trend is hesitation among employers to hire new workers amid wider economic uncertainty in the midst of President Donald Trump's shifting tariff policies and federal spending cuts, economists have said. Then there is the emergence of AI, which some companies have said they are using to replace certain entry-level jobs, like those in customer support or basic software development. This is going to be an environment for recent college grads, as well as many workers, which is going to require more patience, more time, and perhaps more diligence as they seek to attain employment, said Mark Hamrick.
All right, yeah. So hey, that's the gist of it though. That was a pretty good article. Let's see when they published that article. I'm hoping this is recent. I don't want to give you any old articles. It says, yep, August 2nd, 2025. Okay, so that's a fairly recent article. Yeah, so please, I'm hoping you guys, I'm hoping you, I'm really hoping you boss up out here, man. I'm really hoping you figure it out. I'm rooting for you. I'm really hoping that you find your niche or your lane. I'm hoping you find your calling. Whatever you're good at. You got to find something that you're good at and something also that you like. You know, or something that you don't like but you think you'll be good at. you know. But also, don't be afraid to get uncomfortable. Step into your uncomfortable situations. Don't be scared to leave your box. We all got a box that we like to sit in. This is my box. I like this box. It's a comfortable box. It's a warm box. I'm going to stay in this box. You like that box, but sometimes you need to dip. You need to get out. Get out a little bit. So yeah, we got AI is replacing entry level jobs. So we got a lot of people that's graduating college. Maybe they went to college for something, IT related, or maybe something, or something like secretary related. And they're coming out and they're seeing that AI already replaced that job. Some people are in college right now, working towards a degree that AI already replaced or is on the way to replace. So that is a scary prospect. Yeah, people were sold a dream though. You go to college. Hey, I've heard that a lot. Hey, you go to college, you get your degree, you get your house, you get your car, you start your family. And that's just not how it is. You get out, you don't get your house, you get an apartment. You get maybe a used car. You get a girlfriend. Both of you guys are trying to work hard together to, make enough money to, start a family. And you're seeing that, you just can't make ends meet with both of you both making money. You're like, you're working, I'm working. We barely see each other. And we still don't have enough to take care of both of us. We still got bills stacked to the roof. How are we going to bring a kid in? So that's kind of where the dream cuts off at you, on you. You're like, hey, I thought I had something good to look forward to. And then come to find out, you didn't have much to look forward to. You just had what they call dismal job market to look out for, and a lot of student loans. Yeah. Also, useless college degrees actually set you back. When I was in college, I saw a lot of people in school for communication. A lot of people looking for that communication degree, but also those people are having the most fun. I'm like, a lot of people were going to school for communication, and a lot of those people were having a lot of fun in college. They were at all the clubs, all the parties, all in the videos, all up in front. Hey, where you about to go? I'm about to go to the club. I'm about to go to the club. But that person is having fun. What is their major? Communication. Communication with their major. Guess what they're doing now? They got a hard hat. They're working construction. I'm not saying construction is a bad job, but I'm saying like they're working at a job that's not in their field, or a job that they're not that they didn't go to school for, pretty much, Also, all those hard hat jobs aren't construction jobs. Some of those hard hat jobs are just, you're not really laying wood, you're not really measuring, you're not really, doing all the hard stuff. You're really just knocking down walls, doing strongman stuff, I mean those types of jobs, or maybe you're a what's it called? I don't know, but I know hey, a lot of those jobs you can really set you back because now you got a lot of college debt and a crappy job that you can't pay the college debt back for, you know. So yeah, that's how it is. Okay, now we're gonna get into some extra vibes. We got a long show. We got a long show. Hey, we're already in for an hour and a half. Hey, if you still here, thank you. Okay. Hey, if you still here, I'm assuming you like the Vibes by Clyde. So please like and subscribe. Okay. All right. Anyway, so it says, and if you're already a subscriber, thank you very much. All right. It says, so okay, here it is. I like this. So we're going to talk about leaving your job versus staying at your job. All right. So it says, we got somebody here that says, do not leave your job. Okay. You got that job. I know you like that job. And hey, you need to stay there. Because the job market out here is not friendly. It is. We just talked about pretty much the whole show was talking about how bad the job market is. Okay. In other words, stay there. Okay. You safe. You know, I know you're comfortable there. Just stay there. Just stay there for a little. Maybe they're saying, hey, just stay there a little bit longer. You know, just until the job market cool off a little bit. You know, just stay there. All right. So we have a young woman here who is going to talk about. She's going to try to convince you to stay at your job. Okay. She's going to give you a few reasons why you should stay at your job. And look, she about to get you to work. She about to tell you what it really is out here and how hard it really is out here. So you need to listen to her. Look at this face. This is a serious face. Look at this face. She is dead serious. Okay. Listen to this woman. She's going to try to give you some knowledge. Let's see if you agree with her. Agree or disagree. Let's see.
Job in this economy, keep it. Keep it. I've applied to over 2,000 jobs, okay? Look at this history. I'm still applying. I don't care if your pay's ass and your boss is pissing you off. Imagine being unemployed. Yeah, just imagine. Well, if you have a job in this economy, keep it.
Okay, so she's saying keep your job. Okay. So hey, if you think you should keep your job, put it down in the comments, okay? Tell me why you think you should keep your job. She gave you, she didn't really give you too many reasons. She just said keep your job. She said, look, she's applying for jobs right now. And once again, she was using the Tinder job app, you know. I wouldn't trust that. You know, I wouldn't really put you say you applied to 22,000 jobs, okay, but you swiped 2,000 different jobs, okay? I don't count that as applying. Remember, I said if you're going to apply for a job, you need to be on them. You got to be all up on them. You got to go there. You got to talk to them. You got to call them. You got to do everything. Don't be just swiping and then expect to get a job, expect to get a call back, expect to get somebody to email back. No, you need to be up there. You got to be up in their face. They got to know your name. Oh, look, Clyde's back. Oh, Clyde, yeah, the guy who wants this job. What does he want again? Obviously, he wants a job. That's why he's here. Let's just give Clyde a chance. Let's talk to Clyde. Let's just talk to him. Maybe we can get him out of here. Maybe we can see if he's qualified. Let's just give him a chance, you know. Don't do these little swipey appy things. Please don't do this, okay? If you're swiping on a job in the job market, you're already losing. It looks like you're taking the easy way out. You're taking the super lazy way out. If you're just swiping, guess what? 200,000 other people are swiping. Okay, that means that company has 200,000 other jobs. Hey, if you are going to do that swipey thing, go up to that job. Figure out what that job is. You go there and you tell them, hey, I did the swipey thing. Did you see my email? Did you see my resume? What you think? What do you think? You know? All right. Yeah, she said, do not leave your job, okay? She said, hey, you know, it's a good idea to stay at your job because this is your comfort zone. You know, you want to stay here, you're comfortable here, you like it here, or maybe you just don't feel like applying for other jobs. I don't know. But also, applying to jobs can be stressful, you know. Even if you're doing the swipey thing. I'm assuming that's also pretty stressful, okay? So, hey, if you're doing that little swipey thing, just know, hey, a lot of other people are doing the swipey thing. Tinder job search, okay? So just make sure you're actually trying to follow up if you are doing the swipey thing, which I would highly not. Hey, if I was you, I would just take it old school. Print out a resume, take it to the people. And what I would do is I would ask, hey, where's the supervisor? Where's the manager? You know, wherever you're trying to work at. Hey, where's the manager at? Let me talk to the manager, you know, and go up there and you give as, hey, the manager's in his office. Can I speak to the manager? You know, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, I can't get the manager or whatever. Okay, if you can't, just give that person the manager. Just give that person your resume. That's all. I wouldn't really. I'm sorry. I wouldn't even trust that. I wouldn't come back until I can actually see the manager. I'd be like, okay, so where is the manager? When can I talk to the manager? That's what I need to know. Do I need to come early? When does the manager clock in? Well, I wouldn't ask when the manager clocks in. But yeah, I would say like, hey, when is the manager going to be available? When can I speak to the manager? Don't be out here just. I wouldn't give my resume to any random person because I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know this person. I got my personal information on there. I got my phone number, my email, my house, my address. Maybe my address. I don't know if you put your address on the. Do you put your address? No, I don't put my address on the resume. Actually, I didn't do a resume in a minute. All right, so also the long process it takes. You might have to take off of work. Nobody wants to take off of work for a job interview because what if I don't get that job? Now I just wasted my PTO. Or if I don't have PTO, now I just wasted money. Now I didn't get paid for that day, and I also am not getting paid at a new job because I'm not getting hired at that job. So that's another thing. Do not want to end up at a worse job. Yeah, that's another thing. If you like the job that you got and you're like, hey, this is a pretty chill job. People are really nice. Why do I want to go to another job? What if it's worse? What if it has worse coworkers? What if I get a worse boss? What if I get a worse manager? Maybe you like your manager, you know? But even if you don't like your manager, you still got friends at your job. You're like, hey, do I want to lose my friends at my job? I'm telling you, your friends at your job don't care about you. I told you earlier, your friends at your job don't care about you. So if you stressing about losing your friends, you need to have bigger problems. Okay, you don't have big enough problems in your life if you worrying about losing your work friends. Also, you can see your work friends outside of work. Okay, So anyway, also, sorry, I had soda earlier. I hope y'all didn't hear that on the mic. All right. Also, had more time to network at that job. If you worked at a job for a long time, you know everybody that worked there. Everybody know you that guy. Hey, I think I'm making some headway. I think that I'm getting in good with my supervisor. I think I'm getting in good with my manager. I think as soon as the position opens, I think they're gonna hire me for the new position. Or I like this job and I'm thinking about applying for a different job within this organization, and that's why I want to stay here. So those are all good reasons to stay at a job. But not all of them. The friends one is not a good reason to stay at a job. Also, being comfortable at a job is obviously a clear example of why you should not stay at a job. Because you're too comfortable at a job, yeah, you need to get a different job. But also, on the other side of the point, you can try and maximize your profit. Okay, maximize your profit by pivoting to a different job, by trying to find a new job, maybe in that field or in a different field. But either way, maybe you'll find more money at another job. Maybe somebody will find a lot of potential in you during your interview. I'm assuming you've been through a lot of interviews in your life. So, yeah, that could also be a thing. Where we at? Okay, we are right here. Okay. I just wanted to make sure you got this. Make sure you got her Instagram. Make sure you got her Instagram. Her Instagram is right here. It's Sun, but I'm not even gonna try to say that. Let's see if some people agree with us on this one for a sec. Okay, so I recommend not being born. Thanks. I mean, hey, your parents did put you here. Your parents put you here, and they said, "Hey, I did my best to raise you. Now figure out how to work in it." If you had good parents, they would have raised you to be ready to work out here in this job market. And they would have gave you some financial literacy skills. Okay, anyway, so somebody says, if no one is getting a job, then who is getting it? Somebody says, I recommend disappearing and farming on mountains. Okay, so I don't think you can farm on mountains, so that's not good advice. So somebody says, this is the world capitalism has always wanted, for us to be just grateful for a penny. Oh no. Somebody says, when you feel pain in your body caused by the stress during your work hours, you need to give up the job. Okay. I would say if you're stressing about your job and you're not at work, you probably need another job. You shouldn't be stressing about your job while you're not at work. You know, if you are going to stress about something, you should be stressing about a different source of income. You know, don't stress about the job that you're working at. Stress about your side job. You know, stress about your side business. You know, that's what you should be stressing about. Have a job equals have money, don't have time and stress. Unemployed equals don't have money, but have time, no stress. I would assume if you're unemployed, you would also be homeless or, very poor, and that would in turn cause you stress. I'd much rather have money and be stressed than be poor and have stress. Okay. Anyway, I know, right? Imagine being unemployed in this economy. I'm unemployed. Oh no, I feel sorry for you. God. Let's read two more. It says, I left my job because I wanted to start a master's degree to earn better money in the future. Now I have been unemployed for 3 years with my master's degree. I think that's probably about as gloomy as it can get. Okay, this is supposed to be extra vibes, not gloomy vibes, okay? Stay on the subject. Stay on the subject. We are on extra vibes right here, okay? Somebody said man, that's gotta be hard. Hey, if you're listening to this, hey, just know. Hey, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Okay? I am.
If you're ready to move on from your
Okay. All right. So I forgot that. I forgot to mute it again. Anyway, we have this lady who's going to argue the opposite point. She's going to say, hey, you need to leave that job. You need to move on and get away from that job and try to find a better job. Okay. It's better for you to work at a new job than to keep hacking away at that old job. Okay. Get yourself into another job, make some more money, and 10x your life ASAP. Okay. Use that experience, and leverage it to get a better job. So she's going to make some really good points here. Okay, the other lady didn't make really good points, okay? I'm going to say that right now. I was trying to come up with pros for her point of view, and hey, I came up with a lot of cons. Anyway, this lady has a lot of good information about job hopping. Okay, let's see what she had to say.
move on from your current job for any reason, or if you just want more money, you have two main options to get there. Option one is a lateral move, where you just do a quick job hop for a quick 5 to 10% raise. Same work, different logo, instant raise. Your second option is to make an upward move. Instead of applying to the same job you have at a different company, apply to positions that are 1 or 2 levels above your current role. You can make tens of thousands more by doing this. It's how I went from the 70K range to the 150K range in under 3 years. If you've never been laid off, you know people who have. So instead of sitting around and waiting to get laid off, start hopping around and maximizing your salary. Your company doesn't care about you. They'll do whatever it takes to maximize their profit, so you should do whatever it takes to maximize your profit.
Wow, now that lady made a lot of sense. She said, maximize your profit. Oh, yes, she said, make sure you get your money like they trying to get their money. Oh, yes, I'm with it. See, hey, I'm with her, man. She made some really good points. And here is her TikTok if you want to follow her. If you like her content, or, she thinks she's a nice woman. So, yeah, she made some really good points, I got to say. So, let's see what we got here. Somebody says, hey, I'm not saying quit your job right now, okay? All she's saying is find a better job before you get out here and move, before you waste your time at the job that you currently got, okay? Don't lose money because you want to stay loyal to a job, okay? So it says, getting the interview is the hard part. I've customized so many resumes, reached out to hiring managers, etc., and nothing but one interview and a horrible pay, and a pay scale is horrible. Okay. Yeah, you do got to customize resumes, but that's also going to take extra time. So, hey, but like I said, if you're looking for a job is a job, okay? Don't treat it as like a side thing. No, treat it as a job. Like, take it really seriously. Look really deep into these jobs. You really want to customize your resume. You really want to go up to these jobs. You really want to get these people to see your face in person, And if you can't go to the job, then why are you applying for the job is my question. Anyway, so the creator says, I get it, but if the numbers aren't there, it's your resume. Use my resume workshop if you haven't already. It's free. Okay, so she's providing, uh, she's providing value there. She says, look, I gotta up. She has her own resume workshop. Okay, so hey, if you're having a hard time, follow this lady, and I'm assuming you can find her resume workshop somewhere on her page. It says, how do I how do I this without? Okay, I'm assuming how they said. Okay, that don't make any sense. It says, how do I this without being labeled a job hopper? I'm assuming they mean how do I do this without being labeled a job hopper. Okay, so it says, stay at each job 1.5 to 2 years only, and only do upward bound moves. Okay, stay there for about a year or two, and then dip out of there, find something higher. Somebody says, well, I found a new job for 35% more, but didn't quit my old one. I have no free time, but can retire in 5 years. Hey, I think that's a win. you know? Hey, why do you need free time when you can retire in 5 years? You'll have all the free time you need when you retire in 5 years. So just, hey, I would say keep at it. Somebody says, lateral move or upward move. As long as you're moving, it's free money, people. Actually, it's not free money because you're working for that money. But okay. Anyway, let's go down to some of the cons of leaving your current job. Okay. Now, this is hard for me to do also because I currently love my job. And hey, I'm just saying. It's hard for me to leave my job because I like it so much. So I'm one of those I'm one of those people who not follow my own advice. But I mean, hey, you live and you learn. I'm trying to do this thing here. That's it says new people. Okay, yeah. So if you move, oh, that's what I was trying to make the point of. Yeah, but also, like I said, I'm learning with you though. I'm not doing this. I'm doing this so I can learn with you. Okay. Also, I'm not doing this for fun. I'm doing this for fun. I'm hoping that this eventually gets me some money. I need to sneeze again. Give me a second. Okay. See, I did it right that time. Okay. All right. So when you move to a new job, these new people do not know you. That could be a good thing if you have a bad reputation at your other job, or if or just being a new fresh face. You can be a different person. You can feel different being in a different environment. You can feel like you're more prepared. You don't feel like you're still in the old position. Because if let's say you are a fry cook worker at your job now, and then you get promoted to a supervisor. Now, everybody that worked with you as a fry cook, they see you as a fry cook. They don't see you as a supervisor, so they don't really take you seriously. But people at this new job, they might take you seriously since they don't know you as your previous position. They only know you as the position that you have now. So, and that's kind of how I felt. I was working at one job, and then I got promoted, and then I was like, you know what? It feels kind of weird. I hope these people that used to work with me leave, quit, or get fired, or I don't know, get a promotion. And yeah. Anyway, it says, current job does not see potential since you've been there so long. Yeah. Sometimes people can, if you're working at a job for a long time, they might be like, this person's going to be here forever. They probably can't find anything better. They probably can't see the great person that you are. They don't see the hard worker that you are because you've been there for so long. You've been working hard consistently, and you've been putting in the hours, you've been putting in the work, the dedication, and maybe the upper management, they just can't see it for some reason. They don't see that you're determined. They don't see that you hustle at work. Maybe they don't see that you really do grind on the clock. But you do, and sometimes you can't tell people that you have potential. You can only show them. So if they're not looking, they never know. They'll never know. But yeah, they know all your flaws, and also they think you can't find better. Sometimes these jobs, they be like, you know what? They can't find better than this. I'm going to keep you right here where I think you belong. But hey, where they think you belong, that's not where you belong. You belong where you belong in a different place. If you're really a hard worker and you really are hustling at your jobs. And me, I hustle at any job. I'm a hard worker anywhere I go. I can work at a fast food place, and I'll be the hardest person working there every single day. All right. So anyway, it says loyalty means nothing to most jobs. Yeah. So you really gotta think about that. You know, the fact that they can replace you so easily and fast. Um, but yeah, there's also I can't read it because I have my cup here. It says, yeah. And the biggest thing is that you have a possibility to increase your income. You know, you can really increase your income tenfold. You know, so that's another thing. So the next point we're gonna make is, excuse me again. It says too many steps to apply for jobs. Now I've seen this before, a lot of places where they make you do so many things. They said this in one of the other videos we watched also. But I'm just gonna really hammer this point home about how many steps there are to work in some of these jobs. It can get ridiculous, you know. You're like, how is this even possible to have this many steps? So I gotta go to an interview, and then I gotta do an interview, and then I gotta do another interview. Then I gotta turn around and do that, this, that, and third. You know, it can get hectic. It can get really hectic. So yeah, just try to see if you can get ahead of it. If you got do what you gotta do though. You know, do what you gotta do, people. All right, so too many steps for a job. Let's see what he has to say here. Unmute. Let's go.
The length and time requirement it takes just to apply to some of these jobs today. Because it used to be get your resume into so-and-so, we'll get you in for an interview, and it was up to you to nail the interview or not. Now, before we even sit for the interview, we got to set up an account on some random website, upload our resume, fill out a job application, basically refilling the information that was already on the resume, list references, write a cover letter, answer 68 short essay questions, then take a skills assessment test. Now, I understand we got to weed out some of the people that really don't want the job, but I got some questions myself to help kind of speed up this process. Number one, I already uploaded my resume. Why do you need me to fill up my employment history? Just read the resume, cut it out. Number two, if the salary's so competitive, why don't you just tell me what it is? Stop playing hard to get. Don't like that. Number three, stop asking if it's okay to contact my prior employer. Don't worry about my ex. Why are you so insecure? Number four, cover letter to me is too close to begging. I don't like doing it. You're making me uncomfortable. I don't like writing that shit. You like me? Yes or no? Let's stop playing games. I don't play games. Have we noticed?
He made a lot of good points. Okay, so he made a lot of good points here. I like the point he made about the resume part. Oh my god. When I first started filling out, okay, this is gonna show my age a little bit. When I first started applying for jobs and uploading my resume, and then also putting out the information on a resume, that really annoyed me so bad because I'm like, what are you talking about? I got to put my information in again. I just put my information in. Read the resume. Also, another thing that he said was creating accounts. You know, now I got to create an account just to apply for this job. Like now I got to check my email, you know, to see if I got what is it called? A email from this specific job, you know. I would much rather be looking for personal emails and not, you know, what is it called? AI generated emails, you know. But yeah, that really annoys me when you gotta keep constantly putting your information in 5, 10 times, you know. And then they want you to do the what's it called? Emergency contacts. And emergency contacts is pretty much you gotta put your name and your email and your phone number and all that stuff in again. It's like how many times am I gonna put the same information in, you know? And it just gets ridiculous. I mean, I cannot stand that process. It's very annoying and it's very tedious and time consuming. You will waste a lot of time, especially if you don't get most of those jobs that you apply for. But yeah, he made a lot of good points though. You can waste weeks trying to apply for a job that you think you're gonna get, going on interviews and doing, you know, he said 58 short question, not just yes or no. Not just, you know, where they say low, high, you know, high, low, or no, say high, medium, low, you know, not those type of questions. 58 short resume questions, I would just stop right there. I'd be like, you know what? I don't think y'all want me to work here. I don't think y'all want me to work here. Oh, there wasn't a second point. Okay, because that's a mistake. All right, so Yeah, that would really. Yeah, it's too many. It's too many steps, though. It is too many steps. I do agree on that one, and I've witnessed that a few times trying to apply for jobs. And I would say the most annoying part is when you do all that, and then they still ask the same questions once you get to the resume. Once you get to the interview, you know, you do all that work to fill all that information in online, and then you get to the interview, and they ask you about stuff that's on your resume. You know, it's like you didn't know. Hey, so do you have any experience? I wrote the experience. Guess where? On my resume. I did all this work to do this resume, to fill this information out, and you didn't even take a look at it. Is that what you're trying to say? Is that what you're trying to say? Why am I wasting my time right now? You couldn't review my resume before I came in and see what the heck I'm talking about, see how I am, see what I'm doing. Like, what are you like, yo? I think that's annoying. You know how long it took me to do that? It took me 4 hours to answer those questions, fill out that resume. I mean, fill out those resume questions after I already did my resume, do the cover letter, you know, find the job. I had to search, I had to comb through all these jobs so I can find the job that I found I was comfortable with. And now you're telling me that you don't know if I have experience in this field. It is right there on the resume. I'll feel better if you said, "Hey, so what you doing? What did you do at this job that you did in 2000 and what's the name? 2026, not 2026, 2023. What about that job? The job at Jiffy Lube. I'm using Jiffy Lube. That's a anyway. Let's go. It says job market is cooked. People are making crazy stories. Okay. I got to read it over here because I'm going to destroy it. It says the job market is cooked. People are making up crazy stories. Recruiter reacts. Is this the same recruiter? Yep, this is the same recruiter. Okay. Let's see what he has to say. Wait a minute. I forgot to unmute it. All right. I'm going to make sure we get to the beginning because I hate when it starts in the middle. That really annoys me. Okay. And I just unmuted it. So why does that? Okay, you know what? Let's just do it.
Now, because Indeed and all these job search websites have thousands of jobs that say they're hiring, but everyone that's applying is not getting hired. And some guy actually did a test where they had hundreds of people fill out applications and no one hired them or got a call back. And so the running theory is that they're using all people's data and selling it to bigger companies. So when you send all your information in, like your first name, your last name, where you're located, your resume, where you've been, they're taking that information and selling it to bigger companies and holding on to it because right now data is the new gold. And that's kind of scary. What do you think? There's this really crazy theory going on right now because Indeed and all these job search websites have thousands of jobs that say they're hiring.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, that is a crazy theory because, hey, people do. Hey, what is Facebook? What's Instagram? They selling your information. They're selling your data. You are the customer. You're like, hey, Instagram's free. Facebook is free. Yes, it's free because they're selling your information. And I wouldn't put it past them to, be selling your information to other companies. You got to put a lot of information in for these jobs. So hey, what better way to make money? People applying for your job. Okay, I'm not going to hire you. However, I do want your information. I do want to know where you live, where you work at, what kind of job history you have, so I can sell you things. Now that is egregious. I hope that's not a true. What's it called? I hope that's not true, but that would make a lot of sense. Actually, that would make a ton of sense. So yeah, they're trying to say that you're probably wasting your time applying for these jobs. You're pretty much just giving them your data so they can sell it. Now, I'm not going to confirm or deny this. This is a theory, okay? I don't know what websites are doing this. I don't know if it's true or false. I'm just putting it out there. That's a theory, okay? Fair use. I'm not trying to, say that these people are actually doing this. I'm just saying that's a crazy theory if it was to happen. All right. So it says yeah, algorithms are sorting through your resumes instead of people because it's such a high number of applicants. So you think about that when you're applying for jobs. Like, hey, am I really getting the best of you know, am I really getting a decent shot at this job? You know, is it really possible for me to get this job? You know, how possible is it for me to get this job when there's thousands of people applying for the same job? You know, so yeah, that's something you really got to think about. You really got to take it seriously because that's important. You know, you might be just wasting your time, and I don't want you wasting your time out here trying to apply for a job. That's why you shouldn't be doing this you know, this job tender. Please don't do job tender. You shouldn't even be doing regular tender, okay? Don't do regular tender or job tender, okay? You're wasting your time on both, okay? You're wasting your time. Anyway, here we go. We reached the main event. Hey, if you're still here, thank you very much. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you for sticking around for the main event. And hey, if you are sticking around, I'm assuming you like the Vibes by Clyde, okay? So please like and subscribe if you like the Vibes by Clyde. All right, so let's get into the main event. It is hard to find jobs out here, and this guy is really going to break it down in a great way. He's a really good presenter. Please follow him on YouTube. Well, not follow him, but please subscribe to him on YouTube if you are interested in his content. Let's show the video.
A 2023 survey found that many employers are actively posting job opportunities without any intention to hire.
Hold on, let me do it this way. I know I just kind of messed it up on you. I know I messed up the main event. I know I just destroyed the whole main event. Here it is. Okay, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way, people. I'm gonna do it on YouTube. Let's do it on YouTube. Okay.
A 2023 survey found that many employers are actively posting job opportunities without any intention to hire or even respond to applicants. Companies call this ghost job postings. Basically, it's a strategy certain companies use to collect some very interesting data. Take Fractal, for example, a digital marketing agency. In 2023, Kelsey Lippert, Fractal's co-founder, openly admitted that they kept ads up for associate positions even when they weren't hiring.
Okay, now that's crazy. You keep a job open even though you're not applying, even though you're not looking for applicants. That's just wasting people's time. And they know they're wasting people's time, but they still keep it up. Let's see if he has more information as to why.
Because turnover for that role is high. Basically, companies try to build a pipeline of potential candidates for the future. Although they don't have any interest in hiring someone now, they want to have your information on file so they can hit you up when they need to fill a vacant spot, which might explain why so many people are getting ghosted.
Okay, but if that's the situation, if I apply for a job and then you hit me up like months later, I'm not thinking about that job anymore. I'm not checking my emails anymore. Maybe I gave up. Maybe I found another job. Like, come on, like I don't want to, like whenever I apply for jobs, I'm not looking for a job in months. I'm looking for a job right now. So if I apply for a job, I'm not waiting for you to apply. I'm not waiting for you to respond 2 months later. I need to know within that week if I can go for an interview, if I can see what's going on with it. So this is why you need to stalk these jobs. You need to see if they're serious about it. You need to see if they just putting your resume in a folder for later, or if they're really looking at it right now. I need you to look at my resume right now. All right, let's go.
But there is another reason companies do ghost job postings, and it's a lot worse than building a candidate pipeline. When it comes to most job applications, chances are it'll ask you to list out your qualifications, salary expectations, previous employers, and their salaries. Although you've never intended to, you're basically giving these companies free insider information about their industry. Now they can see what their competitors are paying and gauge how many people are looking for a specific role. Based on this, they can make major decisions, like what's the lowest salary they can offer to hire someone, and how difficult would it be to get a replacement if they have to fire a current employee. And the amount of ghost job postings are only getting worse. While they have always existed, a 2024 study found that mentions of ghosting are up 77% since February 2020.
Okay, now that's egregious right there. Now that's another good theory. So somebody said that they're trying to, sell your information. These people said that they're trying to collect your information so they can improve their, so they can make important decisions about who they hire, when they hire, hey, should I fire this guy? Is it gonna be hard for me to find another guy for this position? Hey, if I do hire somebody for this position, should I then pay them this much or this much. You know, if you're telling them what your, I never tell people what my previous salary was. If I do, I'm going to tell them it like while I'm there. You know, if I think I got the job, and that's because I want to get more money for that job. And usually it's not the actual salary for that job. It's a job. It's the salary that I want. Hey, you know, I'm making this much at my old job. Are you about to pay me that or more? You know, I'm usually telling them the desired salary that I want for the current job, not my recent job salary. And I'm assuming they're not going to call my recent job like, hey, did you really pay this guy this much a year? If they do, I'm kind of screwed. But also, like, why are you doing this? And I'm assuming my old job wouldn't tell you that anyway. Anyway, the next point is, okay, let's see. His next point is too many opportunities. Let's see what he has to say about jobs, about there being too many opportunities. Skip ahead a little bit here. Let's see what he has to say.
To respond. Next, there just might not be enough job opportunities. Although help wanted signs are littered across the US, many of them are hung outside of bars, restaurants, and gas stations. The problem is, these jobs might not feel worth it to some job seekers. Chances are these opportunities pay pretty poorly, they have unpredictable schedules, offer little to no benefits, or any job stability. A study found that 41% of job seekers thought there weren't enough job openings in their preferred industry. And even if they can find one, chances are companies are lowballing salary offers. 46% of job seekers said they could only find low-paying jobs.
Okay, see, hey, fair use here. I'm just trying to, you know, cut to some commentary here so I can tell you what I think about this. So they, like they said earlier, remember we heard about people purposely lowballing potential employees. Yeah, he's saying this here too. Hey, he's saying the same thing. People are purposely lowballing people that are looking for jobs because they have so much competition out there, you know. And there's so much competition for these low-paying jobs that they're like, hey, I can pay you less. There's so many people trying to apply for this is what I mean by jobs. People, you know, they have tremendous leverage. They have crazy leverage out here because they have an abundance of potential employees who are looking for that job. And since there's that many people looking, they can pay as low as they possibly want, okay? Because they know you're going to work there anyway. And if you're not going to work there, they're going to find somebody else who's going to work there. So they have tremendous leverage to pay you as little as they want in this situation. All right, let's see what else he has to say.
And a big reason for this is because of leverage. Employers know there are more people looking for a job than there are jobs available, meaning they can offer a lower salary. Although some may call these job seekers ungrateful and say they should just take what they can get, in an economy where the cost of things like food, rent,
and that's what the guy was saying. He was like, hey, you know, you should just be grateful that you're getting $17 an hour. Okay, yes, I'm happy that I'm getting $17 an hour, but I'm living with my parent and I want to leave my parents' house. The reason why I'm living at my parents' house is because I'm making $17 an hour. You know, so yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. We're kind of in the quagmire.
Rent and pineapple pizza are at an all-time high. Taking on a low-paying job could be a net negative. In economics, this can be explained by opportunity cost. Basically, the time you spend doing something is a time not spent doing something else. From Monday to Friday, you might be spending 50 hours washing dishes, stocking shelves, or serving food to get paid a wage that barely covers your basic expenses. But what if instead you spent those 50 hours a week to continue looking for a job that actually matches your skill sets?
Okay, I like what he said about opportunity cost, and that is big for me. I had one job where I worked from, what time was it? I think I worked from 12 to 8, and that was a tremendous opportunity cost. If you work from 12 to 8, you have no time to do anything else. You have no time to work on your craft. You have no time to look for another job. You have no time to make any other money in any other way, because that is pretty much all of the hours of the day. You know, unless you want to get out there and work at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then you don't want to get to work after working. You know, you don't want to wake up early to work and then go to work. You also don't want to work all day and then work all night and then go to sleep late and then wake up at 11 o'clock and go to work. You know, that's crazy, you know. So you really got to think about the hours of the job, and like, you know, opportunity cost is a big thing, you know. So you think you're not wasting time, you know, smoking weed, you know, going home and smoking weed, but it's opportunity cost. You can be using that opportunity to find another way to make money. You can be using that opportunity to find another job, to build another skill, to possibly take classes, maybe get a license, apply for a trade school. You can be using that time for so many other things. I'm going to use that a lot more. You're going to hear me say that a lot because I love that word, opportunity cost. See, this is what I mean by I am learning with you guys, okay? We're learning at the same time. I'm hosting a show, this is The Vibes by Clyde, but Clyde is also learning, okay? So right now I'm learning and working, okay? And hey, this guy is pretty knowledgeable, and hey, I like his content. Hey, I got something for you. Here it is. His name is Vincent Chan. Drop him a subscribe if you like that guy. I think he has really good content, so I'm going to also like the video. That's what you should do to my channel, okay? Like my videos. Anyway, so let's finish this up. If you think, like I said, if you think you're not wasting time, you're wasting time, okay? Try to spend a few days a week working on a craft, trying to find another way to make money. Because this is not 2016, okay? This is not 2015, okay? You're gonna need another source of income. You're gonna need another source of income, or you're gonna lose, okay? That's how it is, man. So please try to find another way to make money. Try something, do some research. You have the internet, for God's sakes. Please use the internet and find a way to make money, whether it's online or selling something or something. Hey, look, I'm telling you right now, I don't have the answers, man. I don't. But hey, I'm trying to help you to find the answers. Okay, I'm hoping that I'm a part of the. I'm hoping I'm a part of the thing that makes you start researching and take this seriously, because this is urgent. Okay, this is not, hey, I'll just do it later type of thing. No, it's you need to get it now type of thing. Set out your plan and try to really figure it out. All right, so let's finish this video. Well, this part of this video.
Your expectations. The more time you spend looking, the higher your chances of getting one that fits what you're looking for. And speaking of getting what you're looking for, as someone who grew up without much money and worked really hard to build my own business.
Okay, we're gonna skip that. All right, so his next point is recruiting process. Earlier we talked about how there's 11 steps to get into a job just by applying. Let's see what he has to say about it.
Next, the recruiting process is completely broken. Chances are you've used job platforms like LinkedIn, Indeed, and ZipRecruiter. They make applying to opportunities fast. You fill out a template, attach your resume, and spam apply. The problem is, if you can spam hundreds of job applications a day, so can everyone else, which makes it impossible for recruiters to scan through everything. As a result, companies have turned to AI tools to sift through the flood of resumes. A 2023 study found that up to 75% of resumes are rejected by these tools before they even reach a real person. The problem is, studies show that both unqualified and qualified candidates get filtered out by these tools. Companies know this happens too, but they don't really care because it's way more cost-effective to use these tools than not.
Okay, yeah, so that's what I was saying earlier. I said, hey, if you're using these little stupid swiping apps, hey, I'm going to swipe. That's not going to get you a job, okay? You need to go up to that job if you're really serious about that job, because you probably got, your job probably got rejected by the algorithm. You didn't even know. You got an email from the job. You thought it was a person, but it was an AI, automatic email. It wasn't a real person. The AI, probably AI algorithm, or whatever you want to call it, looked at your resume and denied it, whether you were qualified or not. And then they sent you an automatic email. Hey, I'm sorry to tell you, you didn't get the job. You read the email, oh my God, I didn't get the job, I'm so sad. But really, what you should have did was you should have went up to that job and you should have talked to them. Hey, did you see my email? They would have had to search. Oh man, let me look. Oh yeah, it got deleted by the algorithm. Hey, you got to reapply. If you got to reapply, hey, maybe you need to just reapply. But now they know, hey, next time that email comes in, I got to make sure I look for that guy, And maybe you get a better chance at getting that job. So yeah.
But even if you're the lucky few whose application doesn't get eliminated by a judge step. But first, if you've been the founder of Stella Talent, not. But even if you're the lucky few whose application doesn't get eliminated by a judgmental and rude AI, it might not even matter. Elliot Garlock, the founder of Stella Talent Partners, a recruiting firm, admits that even before a company advertises a job opening, they might already have a pre-selected candidate for the position. But how do they already know who they're gonna hire before posting the job? The truth is, even if you were groomed from birth to be in that role and you pass the AI filtering tools and you're objectively the perfect fit for the job, there's one other factor that matters even more. Do you know someone at the company?
Yeah, no, that's what's going to get you, you know. That's why I said networking is very important, okay? When you're at these jobs, make sure you network, okay? Make sure you're networking at your job, okay? Hey, sometimes you want to work as hard as you can, but you also need to be networking also, and that's going to be the hard part because sometimes it's hard to get into the office of the higher ups. You know, sometimes it's hard to get in their face. You know, it's hard to be seen by them. You know, they're so busy, you know, running a company or doing what they got to do. They're not really paying attention to, you know, the entry level position people. You know, so it's kind of hard to be seen or noticed by them. That's why you really need to make sure you get to know them, try to be seen by them, you know, try to make a good impression when you are in their company, try to always look professional, whether you're going to see them or not, try to make sure you look professional because you don't know, they might come up. They might come up to the job one day. You know, you want to make sure you look as good as you can every day, you know. I make sure before I go to work, I make sure I always crease my pants. I'm going to iron that crease into my pants every day. I'm going to iron my shirt every day. I'm going to make sure my hair looks fresh every day. Put lotion on, brush my teeth, make sure I look good every day, make sure I look presentable every day. And when you get into the presence of those people who are in the higher positions at your job, you really want to be respectful and really show them that you are responsible. You want to have a good relationship with the supervisor because the supervisor is the person that's probably going to be the one that's going to help you get your next level job. Because like I said, your supervisor works the closest with you. That's the person that checks over your work, see how well you're doing, see if you can stay on top of everything, see if you're coming in late, see if you know what you're doing. You know, your supervisor is like, that person is they're like your little spy. You know, they're spying on you, you know. So you always want to make sure you treat your supervisor with the utmost respect. Also, I would say don't talk crap about your supervisor. You should always talk good about your supervisor. Don't be out here gossiping about your supervisor, you know. If you are going to gossip about your supervisor, make it good, you know. Always make sure to say, hey, you know, my supervisor is good at their job, you know. And I generally like most of my supervisors. I usually like all my supervisors because I usually look up to my supervisors because, you know, they got in a position where I want to be, you know. And I know that this person is possibly going to be responsible for me getting a higher position at this job. You know, so I really want to make sure I have a good relationship with them. Make sure you have a good relationship with them. Make sure they know you. Make sure you make good comments to them. You know, don't be disrespectful towards them. And yeah, even if you think that's your friend, I wouldn't even gossip about my supervisor with my friends. Okay, if everybody gossip about the supervisor, you shut up. Okay, you don't want to be. You know, you don't want to get back to your supervisor that you gossip about them, that you don't like something about them, because then they're gonna be like, "Oh, you don't like me? Well, I don't like you either." I don't care, you know. So I'll just say keep your mouth shut about, you know, gossiping about your supervisors. Now, coworkers, you know, that's probably not as bad. You know, people below you, that's probably not as bad. I also wouldn't gossip about people below me either, because then you're just gonna look like you're punching down. So. You know, you can't really win sometimes. I try to stay away from gossip at my job. I try to stay away from gossip at all jobs because I'm here to work. Okay, when I get to my job, I'm here to work. I'm not here to gossip. I'm here to do my job and get out of here. Okay, I want to set a good example.
A 2014 study found that referrals account for between 30 and 50% of hires, and a referral who gets an interview has a 40% better chance of getting hired than other candidates. The problem is, when good jobs are constantly being filled by referrals, it means it's the same kind of people who keep getting these opportunities. People who went to the same schools, parts of the same social circle, or from a specific background.
I believe that too, because for a little while at my job, I had one guy. He referred like 4 or 5 people, so like they had their whole little friend group just at my job, and that was good for him, you know, and his friend group because now he got a nice little group at his job, where that if one of them were to get promoted, you know, everybody in that little friend group would have had a better chance at getting promoted, you know, because like, hey, if I knew you in my personal life and now I got you to work at my job, you know, if I get promoted at this job, I'm probably gonna let my friend, you know, get promoted also with me. You know, I wanna be with my friend at my job, you know, me and my friend winning, you know. I get promoted, I'm gonna put a good word in for my other friends. You know, it's just how it is, you know. Um now that wasn't me, but that was somebody else at my job. Um but yeah, like I said, like if you are having a hard time finding a job, you need to really talk to your friends, see what kind of job they have. I would also reach out to previous coworkers. I think previous coworkers is a good idea to reach out to, because chances are they're probably working in the same field. Maybe they live in the same area. You know them. You know what kind of job they work. You know what kind of worker they were at the job. You know, you probably know what they were good at the job. So you probably have a good idea of who they are, and if you would want to work with that person again. So I would definitely reach out to old coworkers and friends.
It becomes a closed network that makes it really hard for the average person without these connections to break in. But here's the good news. I created a 5-step job launch process that 3 of my friends recently used to land their jobs, and I'm gonna break it down for you step by step. But first, if you've been primarily applying to jobs on LinkedIn, Indeed, and ZipRecruiter by just submitting an application, then you need to stop. Step 1, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile yet, get one. Upload your picture, put your work and school history, your hobbies. You want to fill in as much as you can. Step 2, add everyone you have even the slightest connection with. If you said hi once in high school or you saw them dancing at a party 5 years ago. Most people on LinkedIn accept every invite they receive, so don't worry about it.
That's true. I also have a LinkedIn, and I made sure I follow. I look for people at my job. I look for my supervisors. I look for my supervisors. I look for my directors. I look for the CEO. I'm looking for everybody. Anybody that has a connection to my job, I'm gonna talk to them. I wanna make sure I add them on there. And that's what I said about making sure you talk to your old coworkers, because your old coworkers, if you got them on LinkedIn, once you're looking for a new job, you can just talk to them like, hey, how you doing? What kind of job do you have now? You can even just look on their LinkedIn account if you don't want to talk to them, and just see where they at, like, oh, he's there now, let me apply there. And then, if you are okay with that person, if you're cool with that person, if you actually added that person on LinkedIn, well, I'm assuming you did because we're talking about LinkedIn. But yeah, you like to, you like, hey, you just send them a message on LinkedIn like, hey, I saw you work at this job now. Do you think you can get me in? Even if it's a person you just said hi to at your old job, you might be able to really get into a new job just because you already know that person. So yeah, that's good advice. That's just what I was just saying. I promise I didn't watch this part before. This is a live reaction. Hey, we just on the same vibe. Me and this guy, we vibing right now, okay? This is the Vibe by Clyde, and we vibing right now, okay? And let's watch the rest of this video.
Step 3, look for jobs you're interested in on any job portal like you normally would, like on LinkedIn. Let's say I found a role with Uber. I'll then go on Uber's career page and confirm that job opportunity is still available. Chances are a company's website has more up-to-date information than these third-party job portals. Then go back to LinkedIn and search for the company. In this case, I'm searching for Uber. Then LinkedIn will let you know if you know anyone that works there. If you do, great, you have your targets, and I'll tell you what to do with them later. If you don't have any direct connections or you just don't like those people, then click on the company page. Go on the People's tab and scroll down to the people you may know. These are people with some sort of mutual connections with you. Maybe you both know a mutual friend or a friend of a friend. These are also your targets, but if you still don't have anyone, don't worry. Go to the filters immediately available and apply some criteria to narrow down the number of people. Basically, you're trying to find people with anything in common. People who went to your college, who studied what you studied, who grew up in your same town, whatever. These filtered people are now your targets. Step 4, start mass adding these targets on LinkedIn. The more the merrier. Once they accept, go full-blown Sherlock Holmes on them and investigate their profiles to find anything else you have in common.
Okay, look, hey, this man is going in. Hey, I like this guy. He is on, hey, we vibing right now. This guy is cool. He's making a lot of sense. Yeah, so pretty much he's saying, I said stalk the job. He says stalk the friends on LinkedIn. And if they add you on LinkedIn, they don't care if you stalk their profile, okay? It's why they added you. If they didn't want you to stalk their profile, they wouldn't add you on their profile. So, hey, feel free to stalk your friends on LinkedIn, okay? Let's see what else you have.
Hobbies, skill sets, previous jobs, friend connections, anything. Once you've found something in common, send them a message on LinkedIn. You really don't have to write much. Just one sentence telling them why you're messaging them, one sentence introducing yourself, and maybe 1 to 2 sentences about what you have in common. Something like, hey, my name is Vincent, and I'm reaching out because I'm interested in the operations role at Uber. I used to do operations at Mr. Magic Lamp Company. I saw that you also enjoy eating pineapple pizza and playing video games and wanted to reach out to learn more about your experience at Uber. Are you free for a 15-minute call this Friday at 3 p.m.? The objective is to just hop on a short call, learn about them, the role, share your own experiences, and then at the end, probably the most important part, ask if they have any advice they can give you so you have a better chance at getting the job.
Okay, and also a lot of jobs have good referral programs. At the job I work at, you can pretty much you can get a pretty good referral bonus if the person first gets accepted into the job and then works there for a year. So, people might be they might be more than happy to tell you. They might be like, hey, come on, hey, can you come in tomorrow? Hey, when can you come in? Like when are you gonna be free to come in and try to apply for the job? Make sure you put my name on on the reference. Let them know that I helped you, I'm even going to talk to my supervisor. I'm going to tell them that I helped you. I'm going to talk to my manager, and I'm going to tell them I helped you. I'm going to talk to them, and I'm going to tell them, hey, look at this person's, look at this person's application, So, yeah, a lot of jobs really like when you recruit for them. You're kind of doing their job for them, And if you're a role model, if you're a good employee, if you are really good at your job, or if you're really knowledgeable about your job, you're a positive person at your job, they'll most likely want more people like you. Like, hey, that's your friend? Okay, yeah, let's see how you do. So yeah, definitely this is good advice from him. Let's see what else you have to say about his steps.
AKA, you're asking for a referral. When I first started doing this, I honestly was a bit worried about annoying people, but then I learned that if a current employee refers you and you get the job, the referring employee could get a couple $1,000s in referral bonus, and all they had to do was send out an email. And people do like feeling helpful and kind. Think of it this way, you are providing them the opportunity to feel like a good person and a couple $1,000s. They are providing you with a competitive edge for a role you want. It's a win-win. Step 5, and this is crucial. Do not submit your job application to the role until after they refer you. If you apply for the role before they refer you, they will not get the referral bonus. Then rinse and repeat. Although this will significantly increase.
Okay, yeah, so that guy made some very good points. Thank you so much, Vincent. Thank you so much, Vincent, for giving us some really good advice on how to apply for jobs. So we're gonna read maybe a few comments here. We're reaching the end of the show here, so I don't want to waste too much of your time, but I do want to read these comments because I like reading comments. I think one of the biggest parts of watching videos is reading the comments. We got some normal people here. Let's see. Somebody says, I think any company listening to Ghost Job should be fined $500K. Now that's a steep fine for I think that's true. That's a good idea. If you posting fake jobs to get, data, no, get out of here with that. Somebody says, the worst time to look for a job is when you need a job. Yes. Hey, that's advice everybody should take. Don't look for a job when you need a job. Look for a job when you're happy in your job, when you're comfortable in your job. Hey, you know what? I think I might start looking for jobs. See, this is what I mean by I'm learning with you. I might start taking this advice, even though, I do enjoy my job and I do like the people at my job. These are all good reasons to get another job or at least apply for a job. Somebody says, I don't understand why people aren't working anymore. Entry level, master degree, 3 years experience. Also, what is it called? Carry 50 tons of paperwork. Okay, now they're doing too much. All right. Sorry. Anyway, somebody said, so basically become a full-time cyber stalker to get a Nepo job. That's messed up. That's not messed up. That's how you game the system. Unlike that comment. Dislike. No, I think it's a good idea to hey, if they add you on if they add you on, what is it called? If they add you on LinkedIn, they are signing up for you to for you to stalk their profile. That's what they're doing. You know, and if you happen to get some, I'm not saying stalk their profile so you can find out where they work, so you can show up at their job with a balloon and a clown mask. I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you need to stalk their profile so you can get information, so you can try to see if you can apply for a better job and potentially increase your income. So it says, find a job, a life partner, affordable property, you name it. Everything looks to be out of reach and seems to be luxury, not a basic life. That's a little gloomy right there. All right, somebody else says, I feel like I gotta learn rocket science to get a job at McDonald's. I mean, hey, McDonald's do not play anymore. They're not playing anymore. These little entry level easy jobs, teenage jobs, no, they're not serious. They're not playing no more. They're like, hey, if you really want this $10.50 an hour, you better work for it. I want you to work for this $10.50 an hour. All right. Anyway, somebody says, oh my God. Okay. Somebody says, economy is dying, housing market is crashing, rental market is unaffordable, jobs are almost impossible to find. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's kind of what's looking like almost a little bit. But hey, that's why I'm telling you need to boss up out here, man. You can't be lazy out here. And also, like the guy said, the worst time to look for a job is when you need a job. Okay? So I'm about to take some of that advice and maybe apply for some jobs just so I can feel like I have some leverage at my own job. Just so I can, maybe I might find a job that's, $400,000 a year that they might, let me work there. $400,000 a year, possibly. I don't know. But hey, you never know if you don't try, But chances are you can make more money by yourself than you can at almost any job. So I'm just going to put that out there. Anyway, hey, please subscribe if you like the Vibes by Clyde. We are going to make, I am going to make more videos pretty soon here. I'm trying to make at least 3 videos a week. I want to make 5 videos. Eventually, I want to get to 5. But I'm going to do three videos a week, all right? I tried to do 5 at first, but it didn't work. So I'm just doing 3. 3 videos a week. I'm going to try to give you that. At least I owe it to you. Please be here to subscribe and watch me on my journey to, a successful show, successful YouTube career, hopefully. And maybe I can pivot and, leverage this opportunity to make more money in other ways so I can have multiple streams of income. But hey, that's just me. Hey, do you want to see if I'm going to make it? I don't know. Maybe I won't. Maybe I might be still here 6 years later in the same chair, talking to you about how it's hard to find a job out here and how it's hard to make money out here. But yeah, hopefully not. Because, hey, if this don't work, I'm going to find something else. I have tons of ideas of how to make money, and this is just one of them. All right. So, and you should also have tons of ideas and ways to make money. Get on YouTube, read some books, try to figure it out for yourself, because it's not going to get easier out here. You need to boss up, okay? You need to make sure you find a way to make some more streams of income. Learn about, learn about investing, learn about saving, learn about saving for your future and what you want to do with your life, because it's only going to get harder. Prices are only going to go up, So please take this opportunity to change your life if you can. Anyway, we are out of here. This is The Vibes by Clyde, your host, Clyde, the whole show. If you liked it, hey, what is it? Please like and subscribe if you like The Vibes by Clyde. Okay. And we are out of here. Deuces.